or not. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Shattered Tabletop Games. We are having some issues with StreamYard, but it's okay. We're all here now, and my bird is losing his marbles in the background. I don't know if you can hear him or not, but
not his marbles.
he's excited. He's very happy for us. We're playing a new game, new stream, new crew. It's super exciting, and I can't wait to delve into this thing. And first, we're gonna discuss a couple other streams real quick that I feel like they really need some notoriety and they need to get some attention. So I'm gonna pass it over to Juniper first.
That's me. Hi. So I actually have a couple of things to plug. Firstly, on Saturdays, I play in a D&D 5e campaign called the Moonstone Matriarchy over on D and Denial's Twitch channel. It's an all-female group. We have lots of drama, lots of honestly inter PC and PC conflict. It's really great. It looks like we are just about to go in and fight a coven of hags next session. So come and join us on Saturday for that. The other thing I would like to plug really quick is that I've written a one-page TTRPG. It's called Cat Capers. It's about you and a group of friends are a bunch of house cats who live with a cat person, and something happens that disturbs your peace in your environment, and you have to figure out how to deal with that. And the reason I'm plugging that is because we are doing a one-shot of that on D and Denial's channel on Tuesday, and the Speed of Candy will be running that. I'll be one of the players, and it's the first time anyone will have ever played my game, so I'm really excited about it. Yeah, so come join us for that as well on Tuesday over at D and Denial. Back to Ray.
I can't wait for that RPG. It looks like a lot of fun, and I get to play a cat. Why not? Just stone face stare at people while knocking things off the shelf. That sounds amazing to me. And absolutely check out Moonstone Matriarchy. If they can ever stop seducing doors, maybe they can get somewhere, but we'll just leave it at that. Heading into our next topic for this evening, before we get this ball rolling, I'm going to pass it over to M.
Hi. So, very exciting news. I am part of a 3, soon to be 4 person group that streams TTRPGs called Magical Miss. We just finished our first campaign 1, Diamante Beach. That was the Glitter Hearts system that we used. So it's a Powered by the Apocalypse system. It was magical girl themed. There were lots of laughs, lots of tears, lots of good times. And though we're taking a brief hiatus in June just because of life, we are looking to get started in July with a Winx Club themed campaign that is running off of a modified version of Glitter Hearts. So it will be full of fairies and fashion and just absolute drama to the extreme. So we would love to see you there. If you are perfect, the Nightbot already posted it for me. Phenomenal. So there is our link right there. Oh my God. And you can do !magical miss to find our link to our channel so you can catch up on all of our VODs. We also have all the VODs on YouTube, and follow our TikTok. Our team, the other girls that I work with are so great at the TikTok. It's so good. And we would love to share some more stories with you because we are just full of ideas, full of stories, and we are very excited for our next campaign.
Awesome. And if you enjoy PowerPoints in a way to defeat a BBEG, definitely check that out because it happens in that stream.
Our player made a legitimate PowerPoint to convince our BBEG that to not destroy the entire world with the ocean. And it was the most magical 20 minutes that I've ever experienced.
It was very well done.
Oh yeah, absolutely it did. Because as a DM, a PowerPoint will sway me any day. Especially one with very nice graphics.
Right. Now, with all of these chaotic descriptions out of the way, we are going to delve into the Wildsea, the brainchild and amazing game created by Felix Isaacs, who is, I don't know if Twitch is going to translate well, but off to the side here, he will actually be running the show tonight. I'm going to be just kind of hanging in the background. I'm going to be watching chat, making sure to post up your funny comments and, let them know if you use channel points or anything crazy. But I'm going to pass it over to Felix to kind of talk about the game and things going on that he might have, and we'll roll into the intro after that.
Okay. In that case, I won't start with the Wildsea. I'll start with something related to cats because we've already had some cat talk. There are 2 books of Wildsea currently available. One which is, just about to hit shores, the first expansion. But I'm also making a little palate cleanser game called Pico, which is about bugs riding cats and going on adventures. And that'll be revealed hopefully at Gen Con this year with a few playtesty type things. So look out for Pico in the future. But for now, we're going to be playing Wildsea, which is a game of chainsaw ships on a treetop sea in a world where nature is in such ascendancy, you could do pretty much anything to it and it bounces back within minutes. Enjoy a game of destruction and greenery in a way that is surprisingly eco-friendly. The Wildsea is a much bigger game than I ever intended it to be. I remember specifically my publisher telling me a few years ago that we were aiming for about 200 pages, maybe 250 if you can't edit it down very much. And if you're interested, the 367-page rulebook is available from a lot of surprisingly good major retailers, or actually small local friendly gaming shops. Or it would be if we didn't get a really nice review from Quinn's Quest, which made us sell out in almost every country, which was really cool, and I loved it. But it does mean that we're now waiting for ships to bring new books, which is, it takes a while. But hopefully it will be available again next month. And with that, I suppose I should start doing like game-related things.
You know what? Let's roll the intro real quick so that our lovely chat can see the characters that will be regaling them with a story this evening. And then once the intro is over, take it away. Do your DM, or in this game, it's Firefly, if I'm not mistaken. Unless you do the group DMing, in which case it's Dragonfly.
Yes, the Dragonfly rules do exist, but we won't be playing Dragonfly today. We're being classic Firefly.
Classic Firefly rules. Of the things you never think you'll say. Everybody, I thank you for joining us. I'm going to roll the intro, and we'll see you in just a moment. And it's all you, Mr. Felix.
Okay. Well, the Wildsea is a particularly strange world, so I feel bad throwing people into it without some kind of introduction. And this introduction comes in 2 parts, one from me and one kind of from the rest of you. I will say that the Wildsea is essentially a treetop sea sailed by ships, sometimes using chainsaws, sometimes using normal sails, and sometimes using far stranger methods of locomotion, which I actually believe your group have chosen for yourself. But we'll get into that in a bit. It is a place of a variety of cultures. There's very little stable land, mountaintop islands mostly, and the occasional kind of weird city built of wreckage and old ruins that root quakes bring up from the forest floor below. The trees themselves are about 2 miles high. or many stones throws, if you want to be imprecise, which I generally do. And falling through the trees is kind of like falling into the sea, except there's a lot more branches, a lot more chemicals, and a lot more definite death when you hit the bottom. So don't do it, is a good general rule. There's a reason we use ships. But what the Wildsea is not is a big predetermined world. We have a few big pillars, like sea is made of trees, there are ships, and then lots and lots of tiny details that matter for characters. Everything in the middle is found out through play. It's a very low prep to no prep game because I'm an adult, unfortunately, these days, and I don't always have time to prep for things. But what we do is we start with a round of unsetting questions. I'm going to ask the hapless players, and Ray, you can join in for this too as well if you like, things about the world, and you can give me answers. These answers may be true, they may be false, they may be right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Any answer is absolutely fine, even if it conflicts with the previous answer. Some of these things may make their way into the game, some of them almost definitely won't. So don't worry too much if you say something really, really weird. And the first unsettling question I'll ask, anyone that has an idea, throw it out there. What is the main attraction of the Festival of Three Masks?
It's a dance. So it is something that something that I feel like the Mothrin really put on, and it's a masked dance, which is very difficult for the Mothrin because they're mostly eyes and very round faces, and so there's not a lot of masks that really fit them super well. But it feels like it's an almost kind of like happiness, sadness, and then like kind of acceptance, and it's a story of balance. And so it is a dance performance, it's a dance for everybody involved, very like Carnival and Rome kind of vibe.
No, that's perfect. Someone else, give me a completely different answer.
It's hard to be put on the spot.
Yeah, that's why I do it. I can throw it in if you're thinking.
I've gone complete mental blank. I'm sorry.
I would say that the main attraction of the Festival of Three Masks is when one of the three masks that the small town is built upon begins to slide. With the amount of people there for the festival, this mask starts sliding into the sea. Everyone grabs ropes and tries to pull it back up again before there is a massive calamity that would destroy the entire town.
Ooh, spooky.
Okay.
The unsettling questions. You really can say anything. But let me throw you an easier one, because you know your characters, you've made your characters. What was the last thing you ate?
Bugs.
Crushed fruit juices.
Crushed fruit juice is a good answer.
Yeah, that's
If you're feeling really confident, you can also tackle how did you eat this thing? Because, like, you know, might be a cactus, who knows? Might be a mushroom.
I would say Priscilla likes sweet things. You could say that she likes the sweeter side of life, and so she'll like crush up fruit juices and anything that's sweet, and even though she's doesn't quite have a face, just to make it more comfortable for everyone, she'll kind of put it in the spot of where her mouth might be at. and kind of absorb that.
That's good. That's really good.
Like, it would just seem a little weird to everybody else if she just kind of started piling on her chest. So just to make it more comfortable for everyone, we'll put it in the general area where a mouth may be.
Yeah. It's a community thing, you know, it's and that's anyone got another answer? I'm happy to take another one.
Sure.
yeah.
Oh, I am a gal, which is a mushroom person. The last thing I ate was some bugs, and it was not because I enjoy eating bugs on a regular basis. It was because I haven't eaten bugs before, and it was like, I'm going to try this and see if it tastes good. So how that happens is my mushroom person has. They're kind of like a short, fat, squat colony of mushrooms, and some of those mushrooms stick out on little stalks and glow. So the bugs, well, what did I eat? The kind of bugs that get attracted to little glowing mushrooms, if the light is glowing in the darkness. So I think what happened is one of them would have landed on the underside of one of these mushrooms. You know how they sit there with the little cap and the stalk. So I think what happened is a bug landed on the inside of the cap, and I went and ingested it that way to see what happened. Wasn't too keen on the bug, though. Yeah.
Still, props for trying new things.
Yeah. You never know if you don't try.
Anyone else, or should I throw you a final question?
I think the last thing that Cerise Holt ate, she is in ironbound. And her face is actually a mask, so it's a little odd. But she probably has a little corner right at the base of the mask where she can put in little random bits of metal that maybe are not usable to some degree. So she'll just put them right behind the mask and in the little hole, and I don't know, just kind of go from there.
This is a ship for which I imagine meal times are quite an interesting, we will gather around the table and then pretend to sort of eat in a vaguely normal way, all for the benefit of each other.
Well, Harlan appreciates Priscilla's penchant for sweet things, because they essentially make those milkshakes that are mega covered in stuff. So they make a fruit smoothie out of squished fruit, and then put an orange on top of it, and then a cookie on top of that, and all of that to get the sweetness and the nectar, and they put a flower on top to make it look just pretty.
Harlan's milkshake does bring Priscilla to the shipyard.
It's better than yours.
I sense the birth of a tree shanty here. It's going to be fantastic. Oh yeah, tree shanties, by the way, very much like sea shanties, but much more around trees. So it's
Oh, I'm so excited.
I can't credit myself for tree shanties. Someone else came up with that years ago, and it really stuck.
Love it.
So in fact, that's a perfect final question. As the ship you're on, which we will describe in a second, travels, imagine you're singing a tree shanty. What might the title of this tree shanty be?
That's a hard one.
The Zephyr Stride.
Oh, I love it.
Love that.
I'm not going to ask you to sing me though. Just so you know, I like putting people on the spot, but not that much. I'm not that cruel.
I mean, I'm a very musical person. It probably wouldn't be that hard for me. I just have to listen to a different sea shanty or two and then go from there.
I will keep that in
wish I
mind
could do
for
that.
later.
Felix will remember that.
Felix will remember that. So, given that we're talking about the Zephyr, which I believe is your ship, why don't you introduce your ship before you introduce your characters? Tell me about the ship you're riding on.
Yeah. I have to look back at my notes for the ship.
That's
Yeah.
all right. So I'm getting you to do it.
Priscilla's favorite spot is the workshop that she's got put in there, because the more heartbreak that she endures from not being able to get cuddles, the louder you hear the bangs and the booms from this workshop as she works on her explosives and metals, and she likes to invent things. So the more smoke you see coming from the workshop, the more you know that she's been hurt and died.
That is sad but wonderful.
So Harlan has lived many lives, but they are and always will be a messenger. And so they have incorporated trained messengers on the ship, so they are able to kind of send essentially carrier pigeons. It is some kind of very strange looking creature, like not exactly bird, not exactly reptile. It's like Archaeopteryx if it was still around. And
Oh, it might be.
oh, good. Love me an Archaeopteryx. And so they spend a lot of time like on the outside of the ship, like making sure that these little messengers are okay, and like kind of tending to them and like giving them little pats on the head and everything. And there's also some winch claws to get cool stuff, because Harlan is, as anybody, likes a good shiny thing, and the trees hold many secrets, so you gotta have a claw to go,
Nope, that is perfect. And Harlan is a word bearer?
Yes, they are word bearer.
The
I was
word
like,
bearer-
I can't remember the name of it, but the male one. Like, I was like, I want to be a post moth.
Yes. Harlan is a post moth. You carry
Amazing.
things from one place to another over a very dangerous leafy sea.
Do what I can.
Does anyone have the notes on like the actual hull of our ship and things? I'm just trying to go back to the Discord and I can't find it.
I, because I am as prepared as I always am, can tell you. Your hull is
amazing.
made of Exile's copper, which is a light metal. In fact, I can tell you a little bit about your ship. It is a small-sized, light-framed Exile's copper hulled vessel with a bite, which is what kind of moves it around the wave tops of voltaic runners. So it crackles with electricity and probably actually floats slightly above the leaves rather than resting completely in them. And your engine is an acid maw, which I believe is a big vat which you throw things into and hope that they somehow fuel things.
Good.
It sounds very trial and error, doesn't it?
That sounds right.
Hey, you made it. I didn't.
Oh yeah.
What does this ship run on? Kind of whatever, really, you know.
My contribution to the Zephyr is being a mushroom person. I've contributed 3 things to this ship. One is that quite obviously we have to have essentially a mushroom farm or a night farm, which is a patch of soil upon which a bunch of different fungi and so on grow. Because I also have little glowing mushrooms kind of coming off my person, they have also, I'm going to say colonized, it's probably not the right word, but they have also colonized the ship a little bit. So around our ship, all over the place, we have little glowing mushrooms that light our way through the ship when it is dark. The last thing that Kanoko seems to have brought with them to the ship is a pod of spring foxes. So they're a group of spring foxes that kind of travel along with our ship and dance around in the canopies around our ship. And as well as being adorable, they also can warn us of dangers based on their behavior. Yeah.
Spring foxes are kind of like the dolphins of the Wildsea, foxes that leap in and out of the trees and branches. They follow ships. They are.
Are they
just like
friends
foxes.
with our messengers that go around our ship too? Please tell me they're animal friends.
Ooh, I would say so. I think it's a friendship rather than an antagonistic thing. Yeah, I'd say they're friends.
Maybe it's like
Or
an
even
enemies
that.
to friends kind of thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, that's the ship.
That is your ship. Are we ready to begin proper?
I believe so.
Brilliant. In that case, I'll start you off in a completely non-dangerous and non-threatening situation.
Why don't I believe you?
Because you know what kind of GM I am immediately. Before I do that, actually, I should ask, have any of you played the Wildsea before?
No.
Then when we get to the mechanical stuff, I will start introducing things slowly, and we'll work through it together.
Awesome.
Cool.
We have just come off 2 weeks of conventions, so that should be fresh in my head. If it's not, blame me. No, if it's not, blame the conventions and flights and scheduling. Don't blame me. That's a terrible thing. But yeah, we'll start off with your ship moving across the wave tops. The Wildsea, we describe it as a sea, and it does have many of the features of a sea, except, of course, no water. The leaves and branches do form peaks and troughs that kind of move like waves. Every now and then there's tides, although the tides are driven by the blooming of flowers rather than anything else. And there's a lot of life, not really fish, because of course fish don't do particularly well in trees, but insects, small animals, occasional big animals, huge animals, terrifyingly large animals that would scar the mind just from seeing them. It's a lively place. But what also has, which is very common to the sea, is storms, and that is what you are riding into now. There is, on the horizon, in the direction you're traveling, a storm of some kind. And you are definitely heading towards it. You could try and take a wider path, but I assume you're doing something important. Maybe delivering something. Because we do know that there is definitely deliveries going on throughout. Yeah, okay. Let's say you're delivering something. There is a port, which is maybe a day's travel ahead of you. You have a parcel of some kind that delivers this port. And that'll be our basic thrust for this session. Get parcel to port. Super easy, no problem at all. But the storm's in the way, and you'll have to cross through it at some point. However, you're not quite at the storm yet. So the first thing I'll do for this session is create a track. The track is called Riding into the Storm, and I'll give it 3 boxes and mark the first one. When I mark all these boxes, the storm will hit, and you will actually have to suffer the effects of this storm. But until then, it is just a looming presence on the horizon. So no worries. But in the immediate future, your ship is traveling with a kind of electric buzz just across the wave tops. The sun is nearly setting. Your on-deck mushrooms are just beginning to glow, and it is reasonably peaceful. We'll deal with some journey stuff in a sec, but for now, tell me, what are you doing on your ship?
Kinoko is attending to the night farm, the mushroom farm. They are just going through and systematically checking on each little mushroom that's blooming, giving them a little pat on the head, brushing off any dust that's on top of them. In some cases, like touching them to each other to almost cross-pollinate, cross-spore. I don't know what it's called when you're talking about mushrooms.
Well, cross-sporonate, I think, is definitely the technical term.
They are cross-sporinating some of the mushrooms in their mushroom farm. And they are just very gingerly stepping around it through this farm and tending to all the mushrooms.
Nice.
That is adorable.
Surprisingly nice ship you've got for a weird acid moored electric thing. It's
Exactly what's going on.
So, what I will do, now we know roughly what's happening on the ship, mostly mushroom-based apparently, I'm going to set the journey track, which is just another kind of track which just counts down to your destination. Journey tracks are easy to fill. In fact, I'll ask you to start filling it in a second. I won't tell you how long the journey track is, but sometimes you'll know. Depends on the GM, or Firefly, as we use here. But what I do need to know is who is at the helm and who is on watch.
Cerise will be at the helm.
Okay. What's the helm of your ship like?
Ooh.
Because it could be anything from like old style ship's wheel to like bank of metallic controls. It's kind of up to you.
I would think it's kind of like a little mix of both. Like it's got the wheel with like the spokes and all that for the easy handhold, and then just like little panels with like the buttons and maybe a lever or two here and there.
Nice. Those levers are probably slightly chewed by spring foxes when they get bored. So they've all got those little teeth marks in them. Anyone that owns a pet knows the back of my laptop cables covered in tiny cat teeth marks.
Yes.
You learn to love them. So yeah, that's wonderful. When you're at the helm during a journey, you have essentially 3 choices to make. You can either drop anchor, which stops you dead. You can make a kind of normal progress, which we call cutting a path, because you are essentially cutting through the treetops as you move. Or you can forge ahead, which gets you to move very quickly, but if there's any problems, you're going to run straight into them. How fast are you moving? Are you cutting a path or forging ahead?
Just cutting the path, you know.
That means whoever's on watch, whatever they roll, you will get a little chance to react to before you go straight into any of the disasters that are about to happen. So, who's on watch? Who wants to see what disaster befalls this ship as you travel?
I feel like I would be appropriate for on watch since Kinoko's working on her mushrooms, and I feel like Harlan's making sure that their packages are getting ready for delivery and that it's being checked through properly. So
Harlan
would
is
leave me.
holding the package above their head with one set of arms, and the other set of arms is like this as they're looking at it, like, this is going to the right place, right? Yeah, okay, cool.
Priscilla doesn't have eyes, but they do sense things. And she's sensing that Kinoko's mushrooms is definitely getting more action than Priscilla has had in like weeks. Feeling a little bit bitter about that. It's like, oh, so Kinoko's mushrooms are getting kisses. Okay.
I mean, you're free to join in if you want.
Just play a normal game, they said. Lovely people, they said.
Yeah, I lied.
Yes, 5 minutes in, kiss the mushrooms, kiss the mushrooms. That's brilliant. In that case, Priscilla, I would like you to roll me 1d6. When you're on watch, a single d6 roll will give you a result of 6, which is peace, 5 or 4, which is order, or 3, 2, or 1, which is nature. And that gives you a little bit of randomness, and me as a GM, a little bit of randomness to help work out how your journeys go.
I got the 6.
Okay, peace, lovely. Even though you have peace, that just means the sea around you is peaceful. I'm still going to roll a die myself to see how dangerous your peace is.
Oh no.
Lovely. And you don't get the results of that roll. You have to pick it out from context clues, like whether you get even or not. But as your ship kind of charges its way, not too fast, but not too slow either, across the rustling waves, you do start to notice that there is a change in the waves around you the closer you get to this storm. You are not the only thing, your ship, that is sparking. Every now and then there are these little kind of bright blue pulses from within the waves. And when you draw close enough to them, you realize that there are other mushrooms, not just the mushrooms on your ship, but wild mushrooms growing that seem to be pulsing in time with this distant storm. Every time you see a little kind of crackle of lightning or hear that kind of quiet rumble of thunder approaching, these mushrooms give a little pulse and release a little burst of electricity. Not immediately dangerous, but potentially useful.
Probably call over to Kinoko and be like, "Hey, Kinoko, have you noticed these mushrooms that are like giving off a little bit of zing?"
I'm writing down zingy mushroom.
No, let me see if I can talk to them.
I had no idea what voice was going to come out until it came out. I'm sorry, this is now Kinoko's voice. Okay.
That is the best.
Okay,
Let me
well,
see if I can talk to them.
we have now we've declared that we're going to talk to mushrooms. We do have mechanics for that. Do you have in your languages section? Do you have the language Gaudit, which is the language of mushrooms?
I believe I do. Let me just double check that real quick. Languages. I do, yes. I only have one point, I guess, in that. But
One,
yes, I
one
do have
rank technically is the thing, but one
one
point
rank.
works too. One rank in a language is a smattering. It means you could probably ask for directions, but you might get the answer wrong. That kind of thing.
Okay.
Like you've been in a country for like a week and you can just about get around, but then someone asks you more than like, what's the weather like today? And you're just kind of like, that's a smattering of a language. As an aside, I've worked as an English teacher in many countries. I have a smattering of languages in exactly that way, because it's it's amazing knowing a little bit of a language, just enough to be not useful with it.
Just enough to be dangerous.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. But languages, the languages you have don't just hold linguistic information, they hold cultural information and general knowledge about the world. So if you would like to roll your language, then we can find out more about these mushrooms, or possibly, if they're capable of it, communicate with them.
Sure, I would love to do that.
So the way you do a roll in Wildsea is you choose an edge first. Edges are very broad. There are 7 of them. Every character has access to 3. Is there an edge on your sheet, Kinoko, that you think would particularly help you in this situation? And if you're not sure, just tell me what your edges are and we'll go through them.
I'm not entirely sure. I currently have instinct, tides, and veils. So either instinct or veils, I guess.
Instinct is, well, actually, all 3 of them could work. Edges are broad by definition, like they are meant to be as broad as possible. They're just the way you approach tasks. Instinct is relying on your gut for things. Tides is relying on your knowledge of the sea, and veils is relying on your knowledge of ciphers and secrecy and stealth. So any of the 3 could work. They just flavor your action.
Okay. In this case, I think I'm leaning into instinct, being that I'm attempting to communicate with mushrooms fairly similar to me. So I'm not just going to rely on my knowledge of the language. I'm also going to use other nonverbal cues. So body language, I don't know, mushroom body language, whatever, changes in the glow, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, classic mushroom body language, just like all mushrooms. Yeah. So it's an edge gives you 1d6. You can then add a skill or a language. In your case, we're going language, and that gives you a number of d6s equal to how many ranks you have, which I think for you is a smattering 1. That's 2d6 in total. And then, importantly, you can, if you have an aspect which is going to help you, that can give you an extra d6. Aspects are unique things on your character sheet, and they have track of their own. They have special rules as well. But even if the special rule doesn't apply, if the aspect is themed towards what you want to do, it can give you an extra d6. So if you have something particularly mushroomy, that could probably help out.
I do have some particularly mushroomy stuff. So I have, we'll see if we can make this fit. I have naturally hallucinogenic. So my sheddings have mild psychotropic properties. So I'm hoping that my ability to translate psychotropic type hallucinations will help me to communicate with these mushrooms if they are also hallucinogenic mushrooms.
Oh, that is perfect. That's good. That's an extra d6. So that is, I think, 3d6 for you.
Awesome.
There are other things you can do to add stuff to a roll, but we'll keep it simple at the start. So
fantastic. And I'm looking for the highest number
when I roll.
You're looking
for the highest one, and whether you have any doubles.
Here's where the Australians start swearing. Motherfucker! The highest number was a 4, and I have a double 1. But yes, there is a double.
No. Doubles of any number, absolutely fine. There is no good or bad. Doubles are just doubles. You're fine with that.
Okay,
and a 4
fantastic.
is not as bad as it could have been. A 4 is a conflict.
Okay.
So something good and something bad. I will give you the bad, and you can give me a bit of the good. What do you want to get out of communicating with these mushrooms? And describe how it looks, and then I'll tell you how it goes slightly wrong.
Okay, so how this looks is Kinoko kind of grabs hold with one hand. They do kind of have like 2 arms and 2 legs-ish. They're vaguely humanoid shaped. So they grab onto a handy rope with one hand and lean off the edge of the ship, attempting to sort of actually forward to mushroom clump, touch some of these mushrooms just to kind of get a mind meld situation going. So yeah, very precariously leaning off the edge of the ship, holding a rope.
Okay, perfect. And that is a wonderful lead into the bad part of this, which is that you do get some information. These mushrooms and this storm, they are linked intrinsically. This is not some opportunistic burst of electricity that's happening. This is a living storm that haunts this area. And the living storm has grown up in and around these fields of electric mushrooms. And now it will count you as one of them, which means that whenever that storm crackles with lightning, you will also crackle with lightning.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
I don't know if that's really cool or if that's horrifying. Like, is that
Could be
good or
both,
bad?
because your body is probably not designed to survive crackling with lightning for too long. Just whenever I mention lightning in terms of the storm, just give me a little reminder that you're about to take some damage.
Okay, sure.
But it probably won't last forever. Who knows? It's
Okay.
fine. And technically, if you want to do it the proper way, on your character sheet, you should have a space for extra aspects, essentially, like temporary aspects and things, and you can just put down lightning charged, and it will remind you that it's a lightning based thing. But temporary aspects, they normally leave after a scene or two. They're not long term things. So I have not doomed you to electricity forever. Don't worry.
Awesome.
But the other thing that comes out of this roll is a twist, which is what the doubles represents. A twist is a small and unexpected consequence of whatever happened, which could be good or could be bad. And the thing about twists is they are not decided by the player that rolled them, and they are not decided by me as the Firefly. They are decided by anybody else at the table.
Ooh.
It democratizes some GM roll.
Ooh. Okay.
I have an idea for a good twist, which could be anything from like you get a resource from doing this thing, or you learn something new, or a new extra element enters the scene. Twists are really kind of up to you. If you have an idea, throw it out to the table. If we like it, we'll go with it.
Well, since these mushrooms think that Kanoko is one of them, can we communicate with them through Kanoko? Like, can we talk to Kanoko and these mushrooms are able, like they're essentially a translator?
Yeah, I love that. That's perfect.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
No, that's a perfect twist. That's a really good example of a twist. So in that case, from now on, not only you slightly electrically charged Kanoko, let's say treat your smattering of Gaudim as like a full 3 ranks of Gaudim. Whenever you're doing mushroom-based stuff with these particular mushrooms, you are now fluent in electric mushroom.
Fluent in electric mushrooms. I love that.
Again, a phrase I've never used before, but one I quite like now.
It's Kanoko to electric mushroom.
Electric Mushroom, the next band name.
But yeah, there you go. And that is essentially, in kind of a microcosm, a little bit of travel. And the Wildsea, as a game, does little bits of travel and then larger scenes, which involve more people and more things happening. And we're only doing a tiny bit of travel today. The travel track is very short, but we do need to fill some more of it before we hit this storm. So I'm going to do one more mark on the hitting the storm track, which is very dangerously close to being full, as your ship continues moving towards this bank of dark lightning crackling clouds. And I will ask, who is now in charge of the ship? Because anyone can drive it. It is up to you. You can keep the same person. You can switch up who's doing what. I don't mind. Who is at the helm and who is on watch?
Anyone want to change it?
I'll take the helm. Harlan kind of like taps up and taps Cerise on the shoulder and is like,
Excuse me. I kind of want to drive a little bit because I've got these 2 arms and I'm already holding the package like a hamburger just to make sure that it's nice and safe. So I'd like to use my other 2 hands because I'm getting a little this is not exactly couth of me to say, but antsy. So can I drive for a little bit, please?
Of course. You can always drive whenever you want.
You're the best. You know, this hat, although it is my word bearer hat, sometimes I like to think of it like it could be a chauffeur's hat. So I'd like to test out my driving a little bit more, see if I'm like really good at this.
I love this so much. Sorry, that's really good.
I love
That's
Harlan.
always very important.
That's perfect. Harlan,
I can do it.
Tell me what speed you're going in the ship. Do you carry on at this kind of normal speed, or do you speed up to try and
No,
get to
Harlan
this
floors
point?
it.
Okay, brilliant.
They have lived many lives, and on this one, they feel like they just wanna see what's gonna go on. They just want to see what's happening, and like they essentially keep getting reincarnated and like repupating. Like we talked about this a little bit in session 0, but some of the inspiration for this character came from Jadzia Dax from Deep Space Nine.
That's a good reference point.
And so I feel like this iteration of Harlan just wants to test things, wants to learn, wants to see, and they're like, "What happens if I go fast?" And so they're flooring it.
Well, I love that. You are flooring it, and that means that whatever you roll on your next watch roll, whoever's on watch, you're going to smash right into, basically. It might be a good smash. You never know. It depends how I roll as well. But who's on watch?
I think I'm still on watch.
Okay, roll it. 1d6.
Okay. I got a 1.
Okay, that's nature. So you have not quite filled up the hitting the storm track, but you have actually filled your journey track, which means you're about to hit something which might interrupt your journey. And I know exactly what this is going to be because I am a cruel person. Your ship moves. Oh, and I should roll the threat. Sorry, there's a.
Oh no!
Okay, I definitely know what it is. Your ship is moving forward at an incredible pace. The distance between thunder and lightning, the time between it is shortening and shortening. Kanoko, the closer you get to this storm, the more you feel this electricity surging around your body. It's not quite enough to singe you yet, but it will be soon. And you are now lighting up whatever room you're in more than the mushrooms glowing around you. So that's fun.
Oh, wow.
Also, as you draw close to the storm, you see more and more mushrooms. The kind of glowing ones that are pulsing out this electricity. There are more and more of them. But you also see something ahead of you. The Wildsea is made of iron roots, the huge 2-mile trees that you're sailing along the top of. But some iron roots are even taller than others. These are called tall shanks. And tall shanks are anywhere between like 3 and 6 miles high, proper like Yggdrasil world tree type things. There is an iron root ahead of you, but it has been colonized almost completely by these mushrooms. So with every lightning strike, the entirety of this iron root lights up, electricity coursing up and down it. Almost all the leaves have been burnt off by the constant shocks. But even in the absence of this electricity, some lights continue to burn on the iron root's trunk. And it is one of those lights that heads worryingly fast towards your ship as you approach. You are moving too fast to stop at a safe distance, and you have moved into the defense perimeter of a small kind of tall shank colony, which is now firing at you. On the good side, I guess, it's firing something electric-based, which at least one of you is going to deal with slightly better than normal. On the bad side, it's firing something electric-based, and your ship runs on electricity. So, yeah, have fun.
Is there like a spindle that I could hit reverse and floor it?
So this is the perfect time to introduce a ship roll, which is much easier than a character roll. Your ship has 6 ratings. You need to choose a rating that you think is going to help the most and roll a number of dice equal to the number of ranks you have in that rating. So whichever rating you choose is up to you. You could, for example, choose armor and try and kind of weather this incoming blow. You could choose tilt, try and like tilt and bend to avoid it. You could choose speed, try and outpace it so it hits behind you. Whatever you choose, up to you.
I think logistically, speed is probably the smartest thing to try because we already go fast.
Okay.
I would like to just be like a little blip in their little defense ring and just be like, oh, what was that? Definitely not a crew of cool kids. No, not at all. What? Psh, nah.
Okay, fair. Then you go for it.
What do I roll?
You roll a number of d6s equal to your speed rating.
Where is our speed rating?
For your ship, I can find it out for you. I am a master of things. It is 3. Oh, wow. You've got some ratings. So I've just realized that your stealth and tilt is 0. That'll be fun. But your speed is 3d6.
It is a good thing that we're not doing those. I rolled all 5s.
Okay. There's another conflict with a twist. It is the most common result in the Wildsea and one of the nicest ones for me as a GM.
Okay.
So this time, I will tell you the good part, and you can supply a bad part for me. Then we'll deal with the twist. The good part is this does not overload your engines. This bolt of light is actually, as it hits you, you realize a mushroom tossed by some kind of trebuchet type thing. It kind of spirals down, bounces off your deck. There's an explosion of electricity, but it doesn't get anywhere near your engine. You're absolutely fine. What bad thing happened there as a result of this? Harlan, if you'd like to tell me, you're the one who put us in this situation.
I sure am. I think that these mushrooms, this mushroom colony, they have the little thing that says this mushroom colony will remember this, and our ship is so distinct that they will not easily forget.
Oh, nice. In that case, I'm going to turn this into something, Kanoko, I'm so sorry in advance, for you, which is I would like you to mark a point of Maya. Maya is found on generally on the bottom left-hand side of your character sheet, depending on the character sheet you're using. Mayas are negative things which affect characters when they witness something terrible or they do something terrible themselves. Marking one box next to a Maya just means you role play whatever the Maya is. Marking 2 boxes, it comes in mechanically as well.
Okay. So I am marking a point next to so Kanoko is standing there with little sparks around all over them, and everyone else on the ship would already know that Kanoko has kind of hidden eyes all over them. And so I think what everyone sees at the moment is Kanoko starts going, and all of those little eyes start twitching strangely as the sparks happen all over them. Yeah.
Lovely.
Hey, Kanoko, are you good? Are you okay?
This feels really weird. I don't like this.
So weird bad, right?
Weird bad, yeah.
Harlan takes their hands off of the wheel, still holding package like hamburger. He goes,
I don't think I should drive anymore right now.
If it helps, I think you did a brilliant job.
That was good. That was good.
I love that. Yep.
Cerise will grab the wheel and be like, okay, I can take it back from here if you want.
You had to go. You did very well.
You did very good.
I went so fast, Cerise. Did you see that?
You didn't go very fast. You went so fast. It was very good.
More and more electric mushrooms rain down around you as you have this conversation.
She's like trying to get out there.
And we also have a twist to deal with. So something small and unexpected as a result of this. If anyone has any ideas, not you or me, obviously, but if anyone has any ideas, throw them out there.
Maybe one of the electric mushrooms that's being tossed at us lands in the mushroom farm and like could potentially take root there.
Oh, I'm happy with that. Yeah. In that case, I am going to give you a new specimen. You should have on your sheet some resources: specimens, whispers, salvage, and charts. Grab a new specimen, sparky rooted mushroom.
I imagine that like these little mushrooms that are like being done, since Kanoko can kind of like speak mushroom, she's just like they're just hearing like wee just throughout.
Yep. Just a rain of love it.
Just everywhere.
I like it. And in fact, other people like it too. But I tell you who does not like it: the inhabitants of this tall shank. Because issuing from this tall shank, as if through a massive loud hailer of some kind, you hear a rather tinny voice shouting, "You're bringing the storm closer! Stop whatever you are doing!"
What?
We're not doing anything. We're just passing through.
Sorry, for dramatic irony, at that moment there's another crackle of lightning in the background, and that one, for the first time, is strong enough to hurt you. Take 1 mark of spark damage. Volt damage.
We're not doing anything. We're just passing through.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. When you take damage, it is taken to any one of your aspects. You just put a line through one of the empty boxes.
Okay.
Priscilla is gonna take advantage of this moment. It's gonna be like, excuse me, but do you feel like there's a spark between us?
Oh, Jesus.
Kiss more mushrooms.
Okay.
No, just me, alright.
Priscilla, I appreciate what you're going for, but I think we have some other things that we need to deal with. Like the fact that apparently the storm is our fault.
What heart wants what the heart wants?
I mean, fair enough. You know, tale as old as time and all that good stuff. But is there a way? This voice is getting me. This is all week, and so my throat is not 10 out of 10 yet. But is there a way that I could roll a skill check to like check on the storm? Or like roll it with an edge, because I have sharps as an edge, and I feel like with Harlan's many lives, they have at least an approximate knowledge of many things. And I just kind of want to know like what this storm actually is, if it's like because of the mushrooms, if we are bringing it closer, if like the fact that our ship is copper is something to do with it. Okay.
Like what we're doing to make it worse kind of thing.
What we're doing to make it worse.
Yeah, I am very pro this move. So let's put this action roll together. Choose an edge, choose a skill that you think is relevant, or a language, one of the two, and an aspect that you think might help out.
I am going to choose sharps as my edge, and then study as my skill.
Yep.
Oh, there's a bug. Because I have a point in study, or a dot.
Rank, dot,
Rank,
I don't mind.
rank. I have a rank in study, and then an aspect. Oh, the aspects are down here. That's right.
Yeah, any thematically useful aspect can help.
I am going to use Oathbound, which is you're immune to chemical, acronautic, and mesmeric effects designed to draw information from me. So I kind of want to like get into their mind, but not have them come into mine.
Yeah, fair.
All right.
Okay, roll it.
Cool.
This time, we are going to introduce what difficulty is like in the Wildsea. Because when you do something that is particularly difficult, dangerous, or dramatic, and I think trying to scope out the specifics of a distant living storm, you cut. You do not cut dice. You roll the same number of dice, but you cut results, starting with the highest. I am giving you a cut of 1.
Okay.
What did you roll?
So I had a 2 and a 3, so that is a 2.
Okay, so that is a disaster.
Oh.
There is no failure on the Wildsea. There is only triumph, conflict, or disaster. A disaster is things go as bad as they could possibly go, essentially. But it doesn't mean you failed. You do indeed learn something about this storm. Tell me how you're studying it, and I'll tell you how it goes horribly wrong.
While still holding the package over my head, I use my other hands to reach into my messenger bag, and I pull out a very old copy of Meteorology and You. And I start flipping through it. I find like a post-it note to like one of the pages, and I go,
Okay, living storms. In your time in the Wildsea, you probably won't come across that one. Living storms. If you do come across one,
and I start reading.
You find the precise name and nature of this living storm. This living storm is simply called Jaw. Jaw. Jaw is a particularly hungry living storm. It searches for food with lightning, and it roves around its territory, choosing a different delicacy every few months. At the moment, it seems to have latched on to mushrooms.
Oh no!
However, in studying this storm, in thinking about it, in drawing it, living storms are arcanautic, which is kind of the Wildsea's version of weird magical stuff. They're arcanautic creatures. You scrutinize it, it scrutinizes you back. And that is the moment where your ship's engines don't cut out, but they blaze with stormlight, and your ship suddenly surges forward far faster than even you were going before. I would like whoever's at the helm, which I think actually might... Oh, no, it's Cerise there. Yes, Cerise. Yeah. Please make me a tilt roll to see if you can avoid smashing straight into the bark of this tall shank.
Oh, no.
Your tilt is 0. That's
great.
Yeah.
A roll of 0 means you roll 1d6 and you treat any triumph, which is a 6, as a conflict. So it's always going to be at least a little bit bad.
Okay. Here we go. Dice, do not forsake me. 3.
That's a disaster. Okay. Your ship slams straight into the bark of this tree. The colony, which you can now see that was lobbing mushrooms at you, they are shouting at you through the loudspeaker they've got as you approach, like, no, turn! And you just slam straight into it. Bark explodes everywhere. There is a great shattering and the sound of wood warping and twisting. And with a great thud and a hell of a jolt, your ship comes to a stop. You have buried yourself halfway inside the bark of this tall shank. And you all take... I'm going to roll this one. You lucked out. 3 marks of blunt damage. So on one of your aspects, the aspect you think is most appropriate to be damaged by this, mark off 3 boxes.
Does it have to be 3 on the same aspect, or can you spread it out?
It does have to be 3 on the same aspect.
Okay.
What if one of my aspects makes me resistant to blunt?
Then you reduce that number by 2.
Oh, delightful. Okay.
Very nice.
See.
When it comes to track length, do we need to take it off a track length of at least the... like if we're taking 3 damage, it has to be taken off an aspect with at least 3 as the track length. Is that right?
We're getting into advanced Wildsea rules now. If you want to damage a track that is technically shorter than the damage you're taking, whatever goes past the end of the track becomes a new temporary injury that you have to live with for a bit. The injury having a number of boxes equal to the extra damage that you didn't take, basically. So in this example, you might do like, I'll absorb 1 mark of damage here, that maxes out that track, and I'll take 2 extra marks and call it like broken leg. And then the next 2 actions you take where your broken leg would affect it, you'd have cut or some kind of other like, deleterious effect thing, and then your broken leg would clear up or heal over time or be healed specifically.
Okay.
But I rarely bring that stuff in for one shots. I generally just go for mark a track that is long enough. But you are starting a campaign, so you do whatever you like with your characters.
So we took 3 blunt damage.
Yeah,
But
3 marks of blunt damage.
Does thick skin count as not taking too much?
Read out the description of thick skin.
A history of breaking yourself while breaking other things has toughened you up.
It doesn't specifically reduce this damage, but it's a useful thing to remember. If you're rolling to react to incoming damage, which you often do if you're like fighting a creature or you have caused this damage yourself, thick skin would definitely give you extra dice to try and avoid the effects of it.
Okay.
But when it's crash ship into tree damage, your individual actions don't do much unless they specifically resist that kind of damage. But it's a good thing to think of for later.
Okay.
Is the tree okay? Like it's not. We haven't damaged it enough to.
It's not going to fall over.
anything.
Okay.
It's a big tree. But is the tree okay? It's a good thing to come back to actually in a second. Should we take a few minutes of body break as we're about to enter essentially a new area?
Sounds good to
If
me.
that works for you.
Sure.
Yeah,
I can
I'm
do
good
the
with
new
that.
coffee. Yeah. Yes, please.
Oh goodness. Ooh. Oh.
I don't know how you do body breaks on the stream, so it's
Ray, you're muted if you're trying to talk to us.
Ray!
Guys.
Ray, you're on mute.
No, I'm not. You're on mute. I'm just going to move everybody backstage for the time being, and then when everybody comes back, I'll pull everyone back to the screen. So everybody sit tight, and we will be back momentarily. Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to bring everybody back up into the main screen here, and we are going to resume our game. Thank you to the chat for joining us on this lovely adventure. I just want to take a brief moment to give a shout out to, I'm going to butcher these, Sue Diver and Liam P. Vaughan. They provided the music that you're hearing, the ambience and the intro tunes, and hopefully we'll be getting some more from them. So go to their YouTubes, give them follows. It would be much appreciated. I'm going to bring everybody forward. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody.
I feel very forward.
Hello.
We're
I'm
back.
also a different position on the screen now, so that's really confusing. But okay.
I'm like, things are different. Oh, there we go. Okay.
There we go.
Hey,
Perfectly in balance.
Things
The
are
world
as
is
they
right
should
again.
be. All right. Well, I'm going to go back to making comments in the chat.
Bye, Ray.
I'm back in the driver's seat. The mushroomy electric-y driver's seat.
Well,
The very
doing
eloquently
better than
charged.
maybe having Harlan in the driver's seat at this rate.
Listen, there's
I think
always
Harlan did a
some weird
fantastic
thing
job.
that I give my
Yeah.
characters, and if Harlan's
Oh,
thing
yeah.
is that they can't drive, cool. That works.
Also, I love a good chaotic character, like the character that pushes the red button and goes, "Let's see what this does." I feel like
Yeah.
Harlan does a good job of that.
It's all about the scientific discovery.
Hmm
There you go.
Frixilla's fine with Harlan's Fast and Furious.
Do, 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 do.
I was trying to think of a mushroom-based Fast and Furious joke, but I really can't because I don't know the names of all the Fast and Furious movies, so I'm useless here.
Oh,
Mhm.
no.
Fun fact: I went to high school with the love interest in Fast and the Furious 3, Tokyo Drift. Like she's Australian. I went to high school with her. So
Oh
yeah,
my
Nice.
god. That's incredible.
Fast and Furious Zephyr Drift. There you go, got it.
there we go.
It's
Love it.
very torturous, but I did one.
There we go.
Love it.
Okay, I'm ready when everyone else is.
Yes.
Where'd you go?
Good to go.
Okay. In that case, your ship is stopped. Your ship is half buried in bark. Your ship is not looking perfect, but not too damaged itself. However, you all took some damage. Tell me what on you hurts right now.
There's probably a few cracks on Cerise's little mask face, and probably a little bit of damage elsewhere. Nothing too serious, but
In an attempt to keep the package up above their head and unharmed, Harlan like fell and skidded, so now there's like a not purposeful hole in their shirt. It's not a moth hole, it's like a hole. And they go,
Ah, beans.
I love Harlan.
Well, this is a prickly situation.
Have you been waiting the whole time to make that joke? Because
You have no clue. I've been like, oh, I need to find some like puns.
Can we
I've got a list of them. So
no.
a few of my blooms are quite crushed, and oh dear, some of my spines have been a little bit broken, and I just got them done too.
Kinoko took a bit of a tumble as the ship hit the tree, so some of their little mushroom clumps are hanging a little bit more limply, like they've almost sort of started to break off a little bit, and I think they've got a little bit of smoke coming off some patches of them because of the extra lightning. They're a little, just a tad fried.
Perfect. Okay then, let's see what happens. Now you've found a place where you may or may not be welcome. Hedging on the knot for this one, because it's at that moment that from the almost bare but mushroom-clad branches of this tall shank above you, a chain unfurls and hits your deck, and a figure slides down it. As they impact the copper of your deck, there is a little spark where they hit. In fact, you can now see there are sparks almost everywhere. Anywhere that something touches something else, there are little jolts of electricity. The storm is definitely drawing closer. But there has not been a lightning strike in a while, Kinoko. You realize you haven't singed yourself since the last big jolt. But this figure that dropped down is an ironbound, a shipwreck given or grown sentience. They have a huge beard of rivets that takes up almost the entirety of the front of their body, which kind of flicker and spark as they talk. You recognize this voice as the one that came out over the loudspeaker. And in fact, you realize quite quickly, there was no loudspeaker. They're just really loud. Oh. And this ironbound goes, "This is a fine mess. How have you managed this?"
The ship doesn't turn that well.
Sorry.
Well, I don't mean to put, the onus of this on you, but nor does a tree.
To be fair, I think the tree might be able to turn a little bit better than the good old Zephyr. You know what they say, the wind picks a direction and goes.
They probably do say that. And about trees, they don't mention direction much at all because they don't move that often. Although you definitely moved us when you hit. But look, I know it's not your fault. And by that, I mean it's entirely your fault. But you have bigger problems. That storm that you've been calling, that's coming.
His name is Jaw. Well, I don't know if he uses he, him pronouns, but it's Jaw. It has a name.
I don't think the storm cares much about pronouns, but it is definitely called Jaw. We normally call it Bloody Jaw or that bloody storm or Jesus, things coming closer. But, call him he, him if you like. I'm open.
Have you thought that maybe that's why he's so angry? Because you're being kind of a jerk to him?
Look,
maybe he hasn't chosen to be a storm,
We've lived alongside Jaw for years, and he very rarely bothers us. Most of the time, chooses something to eat that we don't have much of. Now, mushrooms. If you haven't noticed, gestures up to the mushroom-covered branches. We got a lot of mushrooms here, and someone looks pointedly around at you all, has now bought us more. So all of our efforts to keep Jaw at bay kind of fallen apart now, haven't they?
Well, we have a very important mushroom over here that we don't want to get eaten either. So maybe it was you and all of your stuff that made it be like, hey, I'm hungry for mushroom lunch.
So this is a good opportunity to, if you would like to, try to socially influence this ironbound. If you would like to make some kind of social role, anybody, I am open to it.
The social roles would be like outwit, flourish, sway.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Or
if you share a language, you can also use the languages ones for social roles as well, which can be.
I will certainly roll one myself.
Go.
I also have. I don't know if this will count, but I also have flourish point.
Flourish definitely helps. Okay. Yeah, flourish is being impressive in general. Again, skills are pretty broad. You can be as impressive with words as you like with flourish.
All right then. I do have a 6.
Ooh.
And
in that case, that is a triumph. I'm going to start.
I'd like to start also with. Is it just me, or are you a morale? Because you're one and rare and exquisite fine.
That's terrible.
Kinoko's
I like it.
It's supposed to be terrible. She's supposed to be very awkward at flirting.
Do you also have a list of pickup lines? Because please.
I'm just very fast at Googling.
I love it.
Mushroom pickup lines. God.
I will say, going into this game, I did not expect mushroom pickup lines, but I am enjoying them. So, yeah. As long as no one uses fun guy, that one's too easy. That's
Oh.
Yeah, I've been trying to avoid those.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I am starting a track, and I'm marking off the first box. It's only a 2-track, and this track is called Winning the Ironbound's Trust. you, through just basic flirting, you have managed to soften this Ironbound's demeanor somewhat. He kind of looks self-consciously down and straightens out his beard a little bit and goes, "Look, maybe I'm too fast to assign blame. I don't know. Maybe you're nice people, but you've still brought us a whole boatload of trouble, and I mean that very, very literally. Maybe you could help us sort it out."
I have an idea. What if we try and find something that we can offer the storm instead to try and get it to eat something other than mushrooms? 'Cause I don't want to get eaten.
Perfect.
Yeah, it changes every so often. So if we just find something really delectable that it would want to eat more, then we could sort of make the change happen inorganically.
Right.
That might actually work.
And-
I mean, if you want to give it a go, I'm not going to stop you. But just so you know, you don't have much time left. I don't know if you know how fast that storm's approaching. A lot faster than it normally does. It really wants something you've got.
Oh.
It can't have it.
It doesn't want to eat me, does it? Is it me? What
Look.
else have we got?
I'm no storm talker. Don't look at me. It could be the mushrooms. It could be a mushroom. It could be anything.
I want to try and talk to because there are mushrooms here, right? I want to try and
There
talk
are
to the
indeed.
mushrooms, do the thing, hang off the side of the ship. You know, you get the idea. Talk
Yep.
to the mushrooms, and just ask them.
Hey, mushrooms. I know that the storm is eating you a lot at the moment. Is there anything it's been going for in particular? Like what is attracting it? What's going on?
Roll it. You have an edge, and you have your language, which for talking to mushrooms is now at a 3.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so I'm going with instinct for this one. So instinct, language takes the place of skill, right?
It's always language or skill.
Right. Okay. So instinct, language, and can I use the hallucinogenic aspect as well?
You can indeed. Yep.
Fantastic. So I'm rolling 5 dice.
Yeah. No cut on this one either. So.
Okay, that was a 4, and I got 2 lots of doubles.
Wow. You're not so lucky with rolls.
I should not be using my alien dice. I need to get new dice for this game. I should not be using the alien ones.
Well, if you're in the market for new dice, said Felix, going into salesman mode,
Here's a handy.
we have specific Wildsea dice, which are made of stone and ascribed with low sour, the language of sailors, a conscript I made myself because I was really bored during the pandemic. And if you, what did I do with the wooden ones? Oh, and if you're more a fan of wood, we also have wooden dice with the same low sour things. Multiple kinds of each. I don't actually think they're in stock right now, so I guess I'm the worst salesman possible. But they will be in a month, so you know that's something.
I want them all.
But yes, that is still a triumph for the twist. Oh no, a conflict with a twist because you didn't roll a 6. A conflict with a twist.
Yeah.
I'm going to play into the hallucinogenic part of this that you brought in with the aspect. These mushrooms, they don't talk back. They don't have a developed enough kind of sense of self to talk back, but you do get a kind of hallucinogenic burst of recent myconic memory. The storm has indeed been eating mushrooms, but as soon as your ship turned up, it stopped and started moving towards you, ignoring all other potential food in the way. The mushrooms themselves are also leaning away from you. You can see their stalks bend slightly as you bend closer to them. It looks like, Kanoko, you might be on the menu.
Well, shit. I think.
And hey, there's a twist, so that's open to the table.
Well, Kanoko is kind of drooping at the moment, like looking very sad.
Could be worse.
Yes.
What
Something
if
with a twist, I'm happy to
I
supply
do-
one.
what if we try to convince Jaw to join us, you guys? Maybe Jaw is hungry for the
Friendship.
acid mall that's coming out of our engine.
Oh, I would take that as a twist.
Since the Zephyr does run on Voltic runners, it would be really beneficial to have Jaw be a part of our team, y'all.
If you want to take that as a twist, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to go for Jaw believes it is attracted to Kinoko, but it's actually the smell of the acid maw mingling with Kinoko's hallucinogenic spores.
Ooh, there we go.
And that might be a lever to kind of bartering with Jaw if you come up on it. Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I need to write down more spores. Perfect. Okay. Brilliant. Do you communicate this to your new ironbound quote-unquote friend, or do you keep it to
We
yourself?
haven't learned our Ironbound's name yet.
No, and I wrote it down and everything, but you haven't asked.
Oh,
Hey, wait, what's your
cat's like,
name?
stop talking.
The ironbound goes, Farano. Farano is my name. Farano.
Thank you. Do you want to play? Are you hard?
That's the cutest cat. Sorry, yes.
It's so cute.
It looks so pissed right now. You goofball.
So yeah, Farano is your rivet-bearded ironbound semi sort of companion for now. And you have earned half of his trust.
Half of it. I think Kinoko does try to communicate what just happened with the mushrooms. They say,
Well, I think it's after me, but because apparently as soon as we showed up, it stopped eating all the other mushrooms and went straight for us. I think it might be after me, but is it me or?
like, how do we work out that it's after the spores / stuff from our engine? Like, how would we have worked that out? Or,
It might be that the mushrooms that first seemed like they were bending away from you specifically are also bending away from the acid maw. So you connect those two together.
Okay.
Possibly from where acid is leaking out from your slightly broken ship.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point.
I'll also point out, like, when Harlan went kind of like zoom, some of our acid mall did spill out a little bit extra, and that's whenever like it really started going after us.
Perfect.
Oh,
Whoops.
You've logicked your way into a good twist.
okay. How do we talk to it to get it to eat the acid instead of me?
Farano can actually help with this one. He says, we do have a way, but it's probably easier to show you than tell you. Could you climb?
Climb, yeah.
I can fly.
I think
That
so.
definitely helps.
Well, I could climb, but I have to use 2 arms to hold this package.
I do know how to climb.
If you like, because there is no pressure, and you only really roll when things are dangerous, dramatic, or difficult, and you're not under a supreme pressure right now. The clock is ticking for the storm coming. You can climb up this chain after Farano and enter his small, tall, shanky territory.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Gonna do that. I'm gonna be like, oh, Farano, oh my, you sure can handle a girl.
I would like you to do a social roll for that one and see if you're not even earning Farano's trust in me, you're earning his admiration. Can an ironbound blush? We're about to find out.
I got a 4. I got
Okay.
a 4.
I am going to mark it, but I'm going to say that Farano is now extremely shy around you as well.
Oh,
Shy around Priscilla.
Can Ironbound blush? Are we about to find that out?
Several of the rivets drop off of his beard, and then he kind of stumbles around and tries to pick them back up and put them back into place. And that's your ironbound blush equivalent.
Oh my goodness, that's adorable.
It rather spoils his community leader kind of dramatic posing at the top of the chain as you climb up. But you know, that's young love for you. As you enter this small kind of territory, you ascend the tree by the chain, and you get to the lower branches, which have been kind of knotted together. It looks like, as you get up there, this fungal mushroom growth between them. What are those, the kind of plate-style mushrooms? Something about turkeys, I think.
Chicken of the sea?
That'll do.
Chicken of the woods. Chicken of the sea.
Chicken of the sea works too. Hey, it's the Wildsea. Chicken of the sea is fine.
Yep. There we go. There we go.
You've got this chicken of the sea mushroom.
A long day, y'all.
They connect several branches, and they act as the ground that is built upon for this kind of small civilization. Almost all of the inhabitants here are ironbound. They're all animate shipwrecks of some kind. But you do see a few who, although they seem quite ironboundish, they might not have started that way. None of you are Ketra, I don't think.
I don't think
Ketra
so.
are the kind of almost slug-like, manta-like, jelly-ish humanoids of the Wildsea. They were the descendants of humans that got trapped below the waves when the Great Forest took over the world. And some of them look to be Ketra-like, but with so much augmentation of metal on them that they might essentially just be ironbound now. It is in stark contrast to the kind of very natural living they're going for. It looks like they cultivate these mushrooms as a matter of course, and all of their homes are built of vegetative material rather than anything metal. The only metal bits around here, apart from a few chains lashing things together and the occasional prow of an old ship sticking up as a kind of monument, that's it. It's all ironbound. You're in a place of metal, jelly, and mushrooms.
Oh my.
I love
this.
this.
I'm going to write down for later. A tree full of metal, jelly, and mushrooms. Wildsea, it's a weird place. But there is one other thing that stands out, and that's what Farano leads you towards. Have any of you sailed the seas for a particularly long time?
Yes.
Nope.
I would say Harlan has in several different lives.
That is true. Oh, yeah, because you've repupated several times.
Yeah, it's all like amalgamated of like, which one was that?
Yeah.
Have any of you
Cerise.
heard? Oh,
Sorry.
no, go.
Cerise had been sailing kind of on her own for a while before she joined the Zephyr. So,
Nice. In that case, that's perfect, actually. Cerise would almost definitely know about Ironjaw rays. These are essentially the kind of the whales of the Wildsea skies. Ironjaw rays are huge, long, horned things with kind of undulating fins on their sides, very whale-like in some ways. And they drag storms behind them or are attracted to storms. They feast on electricity as well as generating themselves as a kind of byproduct. And Ironjaw rays have a long relationship with living storms, have since the earliest days of the Wildsea. Even though they don't really communicate with them, because Ironjaw rays, they are just beasts. They act on instinct there, you know. But living storms don't tend to attack them, and they do tend to kind of coexist quite peacefully. You do not see living Ironjaw rays, but you do see something you would recognize if you've seen Ironjaw rays, which is a giant Ironjaw ray jaw bone, arranged as a kind of like altar type thing. And attached to that are several smaller kind of almost mushroom-like strands leading into almost like a pipe organ type arrangement in the middle. And it looks like that is how they communicate with the storm jaw.
Amazing.
That's so cool.
This is so cool. Mm-hmm.
I love this place.
So Farano gestures and says, that's our, I suppose altar's the right word for it, but it's just the place we talk to the thing. We try not to talk to it too much because when you've got a big storm, you don't want to attract its attention even to say, please go somewhere else. You know, you never know what it's going to do. Storm, capricious by nature. But, you know, if you desperately want to, then things couldn't get much worse as it's already heading straight towards us.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
above the table for clarity, the storm, is it attracted to the contents of our engine or is it attracted to the exhaust from our engine?
I will let you decide that.
I think I would
Hmm.
prefer it to be the exhaust because that's something
That
we
would
can at least give it.
As
Yeah,
opposed to like, here, eat our ship.
Yeah, here, eat the
yeah.
engine. We don't need it.
the exhaust would be a lot easier to like give to the storm itself
Yeah.
than just be
Is it
like,
okay? Let's go with exhaust if that's all right. Because,
I'll
yeah.
say agree.
Yeah.
yeah.
In that case, probably the mingling of the kind of acidy exhaust and the spores from both you and the night farm that you have on board.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's
Yep.
right.
So
All right.
actually, this would be a perfect time to do another mechanical thing. Seeing as we're doing a nice one shot to introduce you to the session and the season and the thing. Farino says, actually, thinking about it, if you are going to start talking to the storm, we should probably batten down some hatches, metaphorically and literally speaking. So maybe give us a bit of time, and then we'll reconvene. And mechanically, that's a montage. A montage is a scene in which everybody chooses to do a single task. A task essentially just being a long action. Sometimes you roll for it, sometimes you don't, depends on what you're doing. But everyone gets to decide one task they are doing, and then we'll reconvene at this jaw altar thing. There are specific tasks you can do, like healing is one of them. You can search for specimens and things to acquire as well. But generally, for these things, tell me what you want to do, and I'll throw the mechanics on there as needed.
When they're batting down the hatches, I assume that they're going to have some sort of like defense system that they need to raise up.
Yep.
So Priscilla is going to help Farino raise anything that he needs help raising.
Perfect. Okay. We'll deal with that last.
Yep, just a normal table of normal nice players. That's us. Yep.
Totally normal. Totally chill.
Totally normal.
Okay, that's
No
Priscilla's
double
done.
entendres here.
Anybody else? What do you feel like doing?
What would like a math check be? Because I think Harlan wants to essentially do a word problem to see, the jaw is coming at us at this, many kilometers per hour. But if the ship, the Zephyr, is going this fast, how fast will it need to go to outrun it?
Oh, I like that.
How many watermelons
you
does it take to? No.
You could use the ship's ratings for that and check over the engine as you do so. Or you could try and put an action roll together for yourself. Depends on what you feel is going to give you more dice to work with. But I will say, because this is probably not something you do much, I'm going to throw a cut of 1 on there for difficulty as you do it.
I will probably use the ship stuff then.
Okay.
Because I don't know any of these skills that would be math.
Yeah, it's not something I put a lot of thought into. Study would work, I guess. But yeah. But yeah, if you want to, then maybe just roll the ship's speed rating and take it as you like checking the engine and working out like if we move at this speed, it will take this long type of thing.
And that's to cut one of the the highest number.
Cut the highest one, yeah.
Okay, so that is a 6.
Okay. Oh, nice. You work out exactly how fast you need to go to potentially draw the storm of jaw behind you without letting it catch you. You have a couple of hours, maybe, until it would hit you naturally, but the fringes of it will hit you long before that, and that might be dangerous in itself. However, I will give you, on future ship rolls involving jaw, a 1d6 advantage.
Yay!
Ooh, nice.
Harlan just raises their hands that aren't holding their package and goes, 42! That's the number!
Okay. written that down and
Nice.
put a box around it so I don't forget it. And then when I do forget it, please remind me. Cerise or Kanako?
Okay. I think, everyone's doing everything else. Cerise is kind of inspecting how the ship lodged itself into the tree and is going to take in maybe how best to get it out once they've talked to the storm and all that.
Yeah,
How
fair.
it would be, the easiest way to do it.
In that case, I'm going to ask you to do a fortune roll, which is a simple 1d6, to see how bad this impact was in terms of the ship. On a 6, everything's mostly fine. On a 5 or 4, not so fine. On a 3, 2, or 1, not fine at all.
I've made a roll kind of similar to this some other time in a different system and game and privately, and it did not go well. There we
You got
go.
it this time.
That's an energy to
Four.
bring to this.
Hey,
Okay.
that's okay.
It
So
could be a lot worse.
you think that you could dislodge the ship because it's only really stuck in the bark. It hasn't hit the inner wood of the tree because these tall shanks are big, and you've got a good few meters of bark before you hit the actual proper wood. You could dislodge the ship reasonably easily, but it would definitely damage a rating to do so.
Yeah.
And when ratings are damaged, you just literally you're rolling fewer dice for that rating for a while until you fix it. So
Yeah, that's fair.
but that wouldn't stop your speed. You'd be able to leave almost instantly. It would just be a kind of great wrenching crack of bark falling apart, and a bit of the ship would go sproying, and then something would go wrong. But you'd be able to do it quickly enough.
Yeah. Okay.
You have confidence. You have confidence in your future
Yeah.
destruction.
That's all Cerise needs is confidence.
Kinoko.
So in preparation for attempting to draw this storm away from the colony, I'm going to go down to the mushroom farm, and between me and the mushroom farm, encourage, basically create as many hallucinogenic spores that we can feed into the exhaust, like to build up a, yeah. So I'm going to be sitting there going, and you see the little gills with the spores coming out of the gills.
Okay, perfect. Can you read out your hallucinogenic spores aspect?
Absolutely.
Oh, boy.
Naturally hallucinogenic. Your sheddings have mild psychotropic properties marked to create a rare resource, hallucinogenic spores.
Okay, so if you want to, you can mark that aspect once. So essentially you're just taking 1 damage to it, but you get hallucinogenic spores as a resource you can use at any time.
If
Perfect.
this works, you guys, this is going to be like catnip to a cat.
Yeah.
Storm nip to a storm.
Yes.
But if we just leave a pile of it somewhere, then it'll just roll around in that.
You want a storm to start rolling around? That's a...
Yeah.
Actually,
I mean,
I'm not gonna
they
put
do
this
say
storm-
when a storm rolls in, so
that is true.
it's a pre-established thing that storms roll.
I was about to say I'm not going to do it with this storm, but now you've mentioned that, there is literally something in one of the books that I might actually now use that I wasn't going to before. So thank you for reminding me that exists.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not good for you, it's good for me.
Oh no.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
But let's go back to Priscilla, because you had decided to do something that's going to be both informative and probably amusing. Raising defenses, or other things, but mostly defenses, hopefully. The ship's prows that are kind of stuck around this thing with, which you thought originally were for decoration, or possibly like a large memorabilia, they actually open up into lightning rods. This place has obviously dealt with storms for a long time. So you help Farano uncover, and the other Ironbound there, obviously, but you're not focused on them, uncover a series of lightning rods, which start stretching towards the sky. These mushrooms are now essentially pierced by long kind of copper spines. What do you say to Farano while you're doing this?
Not the kind of rods I was hoping to bring up today, but I guess it'll have to do.
Okay. I would like you to make a social roll for this. Try and get the best result you can. Edge, skill, and any relevant aspect to. Are there aspects relevant to flirting in the Wildsea? I don't know. There might be. I wrote a lot of them. So.
You wrote it, Felix.
So let's see. I have flourish, I have sway, and I have grace.
You can choose one of the skills. So which is higher, flourish or sway?
Flourish.
Okay, then roll whatever your flourish is, and grace sounds good. That graceful words is a good use of grace.
Okay. I have 4.
Any
4
doubles?
3. No doubles.
No doubles. Oh, that's a pity. But a 4 is a conflict. I'm going to add another 2 boxes to Farano's trusting you track. He already trusts you, but does he feel something more? I'm going to mark one of these boxes. Farano spends most of this time as you're kind of talking to him about these things, kind of avoiding you, dropping the occasional rivet. But you do also notice some of the other Ironbound and potential Ketra around Farano kind of whisper to each other behind their hands, and a few of them nudge him kind of towards you as you do this together. Even though he might be shyer than you'd expect from this big bearded leader type, the others around him are definitely in favor of this.
I love it.
You are now winning the trust of the colony as a whole rather than just him.
Oh.
And
Love
that, I
this.
think, is the end of our montage. So we reconvene around the kind of Iron Jaw Ray altar. The storm of jaw is pulling closer and closer. Again, no lightning strikes throughout this entire time, but Kinoko, you can feel something building within this storm.
Mm-hmm. Do I know whether a lightning strike is that it eating something? Is striking it with lightning, or?
From your hallucinogenic mushroom visions, the storm is called Jaw for a reason. There did seem to be some kind of voltaic biting going on, so the lightning is definitely involved, but you don't know how much of that is reality and how much of it is hallucination.
Okay.
Something's building up, everyone. We gotta do something fast.
It almost feels like those moments before a sneeze, where you know the sneeze is coming, but...
Yep. I think you just see Kanoko's body sort of like the little sparks are going everywhere and they're kind of twitching a little bit, like holding a bit of tension there. Like, you know, when you tense up before a sneeze.
Oh.
So yeah, Farano goes, well, this is the altar. If you want to draw Jaw's attention, I'm not going to stop you, although I am going to keep a safe distance. And he and the rest of the colony kind of retreat to sitting around their lightning rods.
Kanoko goes, not me, and then takes a step back and continues going to get more spores out.
Merlin looks to Priscilla and goes,
This is entirely up to you.
Hey, Priscilla. Do you want to try to hit on it? I think you would be the best at least catching its attention. You're really good at that.
I'll give it my best. Okay.
Harlan pats her on the back and then goes, ow.
I was going to say, just making sure we're clear on exactly what's happening. Priscilla is going to hit on a living storm through the medium of a giant bone altar in the shape of an organ.
I mean, if that's not romantic, I don't know what is.
Yeah,
Please tell me someone's going to interpretive dance this as well. Like, that would just be the icing on the cake.
Probably just Cerise kind of like with her sword doing these slow movements.
The
if we are going to go through with this.
Priscilla's going to remind Kinoko, like, okay, honey, don't strain too hard, or you're going to have a little shiitake going on, okay?
I will pay that one. That was terrible. I loved it.
That was good. Okay, but you want to interact with Joe, Priscilla? It looks like the attention's on you. What are you doing?
I'm going to take one of my blooms, and I'm going to wave it like a little handkerchief, and I'm be like, yoo-hoo! Is that your jaw or is that my jaw? Because I feel like I just dropped mine when I saw you.
Okay, this is brilliant. Let's roll this. I am going to give you, just so you know, a cut of 2. What you are doing is both exceptionally difficult and exceptionally dangerous.
Uh-oh.
So you roll the same number of dice you would, but you will be cutting the 2 highest results once they're rolled. This is also a good time to bring in other ways you can get dice to roll, because you want to be rolling as many as possible. With the adding aspects, you can technically, they give you 1d6 of advantage if you've got a useful aspect, but you can get advantage in other ways as well. You can get up to 2d6 of advantage from being helped by an ally, but if something goes wrong, it happens to that ally just as much as it happens to you. Or from using a resource, which you should have on your sheet. Those are your specimens, whispers, charts, and whatever the salvage. That's the other one. You could use that to get an extra d6 as well, but you also cross it off your sheet. Resources are kind of easy come, easy go. Aspects stay around, they get damaged, they get healed. Resources are generally one use.
So if
Can
I
other
cross it
players
off of my
contribute?
sheet, am I crossing it off like forever?
Forever, yeah.
Oh.
Can other players contribute resources as well? And like,
Yep,
can you put
definitely.
multiple resources into a roll?
Yes, but you can only ever get 1d6 from useful resources.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to contribute Mycosanctum rumblings, which is a whisper. So because we know that this storm is attracted to mushrooms currently, and the Mycosanctum rumblings that I got is actually a whisper that comes from my home colony. So it contains a lot of mushroom essence. I don't know.
Oh, that is perfect.
I would like to contribute that as a like, you know how you have background music, or like we currently have background music. I'd like to contribute those rumblings as a background music to what Priscilla is communicating.
Oh, that is excellent. Also, whispers, do we know what they are?
I
So,
just
Sort of.
personally.
Whispers are kind of what they sound like, but they're a little bit more. Whispers are living words that root themselves in your head and bounce around until spoken. They're normally just a kind of a little buzz at the back of your brain, if you have a brain, which many Wildsea things don't, or have a distributed brain, or whatever. Some of you are robots, some of you are mushrooms, I don't know. But yeah, whispers, they can change reality slightly when they're spoken. It's essentially like that they kind of do it to the strength of a twist, an unexpected thing. But unlike twists, where the rest of the table decides, when you use a whisper, you're kind of in control of what happens. You can also shout a whisper and get a much stronger effect, but then the firefly is in control of what happens. So.
Ooh.
But this is kind of the perfect whisper to use for this. It will definitely give 1d6 of advantage. I would also say it would increase the impact of what you're doing. Because impact, which we haven't really talked about yet, impact is the kind of levels of success you can have, or failure if things go horribly wrong, disaster technically. There are 4 levels of it. Low, you don't affect much. Normal, almost every roll in the game will give you normal impact. High, things are stronger than you might expect. And massive, which is kind of Leviathan style, you affect the world in a massive way. It's a good way to think about it is like breaking through a door. If you're going to break down a door and you've got low impact, it might take a few shoulder barges to do it. Normal impact, you break through a door. High impact, you kick the door off its hinges. Massive impact, you smash through the wall. So
Okay.
Good to know.
we will give this an extra d6 and we'll treat it as high impact. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen big.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeehaw.
Like Okay, so taking away my 2 highest, I have a 3 and a 2.
Oh
Okay.
no!
It's a
Oh no!
disaster. It's a high impact disaster.
Oh
But
no!
like I said, disaster is not failure. You do manage to communicate with Jaw, the living storm.
Oh no.
You, in fact, manage to slightly flirt with Jaw, the living storm. But you also get a reply. That feeling that has been building up inside you, Kanoko, and sorry, this is going to hit you as well. That feeling, it's like a storm breaking. It's like that fire. It's like the sneeze that comes. As Prixilla speaks, there is a moment of silence, and in that silence, the lightning rods start crackling slightly, and you see a little bit of light flicker around the approaching clouds, and then instantly, almost instantly, yes, the seduction works far too well. A bolt of thick, slow lightning starts working its way through the skies towards you. Kinoko, I would like you to take massive damage, which is mark all of the boxes on one of your tracks, as that lightning is going to hit you as well. And Prixilla, I'm sorry, but it was so good. You also take massive damage, but this time it's from the altar exploding around you. Because as that lightning reaches the Iron Jaw jaw, the whole thing just ruptures. You have made contact with the living storm, most definitely. It's very aware of your existence.
Oh dear!
Oh my.
When
This
you
is
say
massive volt damage, just in case you're resistant to it. Who knows?
So I take
with
off
me,
all the tracks on one.
All of the boxes on one
Okay.
of your tracks. So
Okay.
essentially, one of your aspects becomes unusable for the rest of this session, or until you
Okay.
heal it.
Okay. This one makes sense to me actually. So I'm crossing off all of the boxes on the aspect mycofiltration. So what that aspect does is you can see perfectly within spore clouds and you resist the effects of bad air and airborne spores. So I think it makes sense for given that Kinoko is trying so hard to produce spores and everything at the moment, I think it makes sense for that lightning to be disruptive of their ability to deal with external stuff that's
Yeah,
on that
okay.
same level.
And Prixilla, what do you mark off?
I mark off my ability to sprint up any surfaces. Rising meteor.
Rising meteor, but yes, that's fair.
I mean, I've been blasted. I don't think I can climb anything very much anymore.
Yeah, you've definitely been blasted. Everyone else, you are mostly fine. Shocked, probably, but mostly fine.
Shocked.
Not literally shocked, metaphorically shocked.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be mostly fine. But that is not the end of this particular little moment, because that slow lightning, the bolt finishes, and it is now in the shape of the Iron Jaw Ray's jaw that was there. You now have a manifestation of jaw hanging in the air in front of you. And although it does not directly speak to you, that whisper, Mycosanctum rumblings, it's given you a little bit of communication which otherwise wouldn't have been possible. You can, in the spores that have now been mostly burnt out and are just kind of drifting through the air, and in the mushrooms around you making up most of this colony, they are vibrating slowly, almost as if thunder is speaking.
Cool.
Oh wow.
That's really cool.
But the real question is, do any of you speak the right language?
Probably not.
What is the
What's
language?
of Alta?
This storm is speaking to you in Hyvin.
Damn it.
Are you sure it's not Chthonic?
I am sure it's not Chthonic. I'm sorry.
Are you
Hyvin
sure
is-
it's not low sour?
I'm very sure it's not Losal. Hyvin is
Does
like
Farah
the
speak
oldest
it?
language. It's adapted from pre-Verdant civilization.
Does Farah speak it? Because he's been speaking to this storm quite a lot.
Let's make a fortune roll. On a roll of 6, Farano is fluent. On a roll of 5 or 4, Farano has a, whatever the middle one is, knowledge of this language. On a 3, 2, or 1, he has a smattering.
Okay. Alrighty.
1d6, good luck.
We got a 6! Woo!
In that case, because it would be too easy to give you a straight triumph on that, Farano is indeed completely fluent, and you find this out because he is now rooted to the floor with lightning running up and down and sparking constantly off his beard as he, really without any kind of pause for thought or even self-control, is now translating what Jor is saying to you. And Jor is saying in Farano's voice, but with that unfortunate and unusual Doppler effect of rolling thunder across hills, is saying, "You have bought me delicious treats."
You like the stuff out of our engine, right? And the spores, that. If we, how about? Because would you like to follow us, and we could give you food as we go, please?
You are proposing a game of cat and mouse?
We're more proposing a gift, almost like a package delivery. You see, that's something that I'm very, very well versed in, as it's kind of my profession and also my vocation. Much like your vocation is being a storm, I bring things that others give to others. So we, the collective of the Zephyr, have brought you spores and engine exhaust. That is like yummy, yummy treats. Like a good winter holiday treat. Almost a Yule log of sorts. And you get to have that and enjoy your num-nums, and we get to go about our day.
I'm going to make what I would normally do as you're doing like journey stuff. I'm going to make a threat roll.
Oh no!
That's a disaster. I propose cat and mouse. You describe the mouse carrying a perfect treat. I accept.
We're sorry we didn't wrap it, but it's really difficult to wrap exhaust. Can
Have
we,
you ever chased a mouse?
Can we rock, paper, scissors for whoever gets a head start?
Do you want to rock, paper, scissors with a storm?
Yeah.
Do it.
1, 2, 3, go. Okay.
That sounds perfect.
All right.
Wait. Just if you care, Felix, we do have a chat command. If you would like to have chat roll for the storm.
Oh, hey, I'm happy to.
Use exclamation mark RPS in chat.
Stop. That's so fun.
Or rock, paper, scissors.
So am I versusing chat here, or are you? I don't mind.
However you would like it to work.
That's an excellent
In that
question.
case, Harlan, you versus chat. Go for it.
Okay. All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Chat one.
Damn it. Oh, that's a rock. Yeah.
Chat, you are now the storm. In that case, Jor, speaking through Farano, says, "An amusing game. You have no head start."
Ah, damn it. Okay. Hey guys.
Farano. Oh no, you go. But something horrible was about to happen.
Oh no. I just wanted to turn around and be like, "Hey guys, sorry, I'm really bad at rock, paper, scissors. We gotta go."
Yeah, I think we bolt for the ship.
Uh-huh.
As you do, Priscilla,
Oh no.
you have a connection with Farano.
Oh no.
I would like you to take a mark of Maya.
That tracks.
Yeah, because
That's
what you
actually
witness-
on one of my Mire.
Oh, what's the Maya?
The Mire is whenever she gets a little bit heartbroken, her thorns get a little bit more prickly and her blooms start to wilt develop.
Oh, that is absolutely perfect. Yeah, you're going to be a little bit heartbroken. You are about to witness the death of Farano. The
No.
lightning that is speaking through this thing crawls its way through the mushrooms of the ground, leaving these kind of blackened, charred pieces, and they crawl into Farano, whose body falls apart as it does so, leaving behind a core of iron-bound stuff tied together with lightning, which then begins to repiece itself. More bits of mushroom, bits of lightning rods, some of the other iron-bound start losing pieces as everyone tries to rush back from this thing. What was Farano is becoming some kind of large feline electric and metal entity.
Oh, that's so cool, but so terrifying.
Rivets were his beard, and now this gigantic lion's mane around him of floating rivets held together with lightning. Good luck.
I fall to my knees and my hand comes up to my chest and I'm like,
Perfect. Yeah, you make a run for your ship, I believe is what you were doing.
Yeah. Cerise is
Remember, your
gonna
ship is
kind of
like a
help
good
with
50 meters down a chain, so.
Nice.
So I'm going to ask all of you, roll to get down there. Describe how you do it and roll to get down there, and then let's start this chase.
Kanoko has like off their they kind of have what look like almost pauldrons or shoulder pads with like a almost a cape kind of situation coming off them a little bit. So I think they hold the cape out a little bit like a squirrel, like a one of those sugar glider type of things, and like float their way down to the ship.
Beautiful.
I like that.
Like a yeah.
Yeah, make a roll for it. We're going to keep the results simple in this one. A triumph, you take no damage. A conflict, you take 1 mark of blunt, and a disaster, you take 2 marks of blunt, which means if you're resistant to blunt damage, you're actually safe, whatever happens.
Cerise is just gonna kind of jump down and sort of hold on to the chain, not climbing down it, but like kind of almost in a one-armed fireman pull down the chain onto the just getting onto the Zephyr as fast as she can in order to get to where she needs to be in order to get the Zephyr out of the tree and also not become part of the new Ironbound being controlled by a living storm bit.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I if I had thought about that, I definitely would have made you roll to sit. Well done for reminding me only after it was relevant. That's probably a very sensible thing to do.
Ironbound terrified for her life.
Yeah, that's fair.
Priscilla has I have a tower shield. And she's also Cratch in her, so she has dealt with bombs. So she's gonna kind of tumble roll and kind of snowboard down on the shield also.
Nice.
Ooh.
I like that.
Very
I've
cool.
seen those shields used for surfing many times. I always like that. And Harlan, I think.
Harlan is going to fly down sensibly, but they're gonna do a cool sick flip as they go.
Okay.
Because it's one you don't get to do sick flips very often, so they're just
that's
like,
very
hey,
true.
bloop.
Very, very true. In that case, make your rolls and see how much damage you take from this one. 0 on a 6, 1 on a 5 or 4, 2 on a 3, 2 or 1. Blunt damage.
Well,
Okay. I'm taking 1 damage because I got a 4.
Okay.
I got a 3. I forgot how much that was again.
2 marks of damage.
I am
2, okay.
taking
2 marks of blunt damage, yeah.
1 mark of damage for being resistant to blunt, but I rolled a 1. So I just want you all to know that this flip was not, in fact, sick. It was a bad flip.
Okay.
And I rolled a 6.
Ooh.
A perfect
Ooh,
landing.
nice.
Even in sadness, a perfect landing.
Listen, Priscilla's been playing our ship's copy of Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Mhm.
Or that the shield slide was lubricated by tears.
Oh
But yeah, you are now back on your ship. I'm afraid, Kinoko, because we set this up at the very beginning, this is going to keep harming you and the things around you. The newly reformed Farano, I suppose I really should give it a new name now. It's part jaw.
Jarano?
Only with Faranor.
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 Fair enough.
Yeah. Faranor lets out a something between a roar and a scream as it begins to follow you, bounding from place to place. It moves almost like one of those old stop motion movie type things. Lightning is not meant to be contained within people. And as it does so, your body resonates and sparks along with it. But this does not harm you. This harms your ship.
Oh no.
I would like you to choose one of your ship's ratings to reduce by 1.
Oh shit. What are our current ship ratings at? I don't have that information.
They are at armor 1, seals 2, speed 3, soars 2, stealth 0, tilt 0. Oh, actually, thinking about it, looking at your ratings, did you start with 1 in each rating?
No.
You do.
No,
That
I
is
don't
a
think I
thing
did.
that some people forget because I probably don't mention it enough in the book. Each rating starts at 1.
Oh, okay, sick.
So you actually have 1 more in each rating than you thought.
All right. Perfect.
Cool. Love it.
So you actually have armor 2, seals 3, speed 4, very respectable, soars 3, stealth 1, tilt 1.
I think it makes sense for seals to drop because seals being a measure of how well your ship keeps the Wildsea out. I think it makes sense that if a lightning creature is if it's lightning that's damaging the ship, that it would become a little bit more leaky, if you like.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair.
In that case, you probably just like discharge electricity into the walls around you, and some of the mushroom farm walls, kind of like the copper of them, just starts peeling and quirking, and yeah, you've now got a few extra holes in your ship.
Oh.
But yeah, you do make it down to your ship in record time, with screams coming from the colony above you of what you have accidentally wrought. Although, to be fair to you, it was going to happen whether you were there or not at some point. It just happened very dramatically now you were there. And Faranor in pursuit. Who is taking the helm? Okay, how fast are we going?
Tell your stories.
I am just going off of what I saw during the montage and getting the ship out.
Cerise, I did the math. It's 42. We gotta go 42. You gotta floor it, Cerise.
What do you think I'm doing?
I trust your judgment, but I just wanted to let you know I did the math.
Cerise is just pushing buttons that she needs to, and she's getting ready to let her rip.
I'm gonna situate myself at the exhaust of the ship, and I'm gonna be madly throwing spores into the exhaust to try and create some kind of food distraction that hopefully Jaw will or Faranor will be like punching as they go.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to make a random roll to see, as you pull the ship out of the bark, which bit of it takes some damage.
Oh no.
6. So that is is that stealth or tilt? 6th one down is tilt. You're back down to 0 tilt. You're still
that's how we
just as
like
bad
it.
at steering as ever.
Honestly, I think it was 0 to start off with. The fact that we couldn't even dodge a tree. So,
but yeah, unlike normal journeys where you've got a destination in mind and you're going somewhere, I am not making a track for this. Your speed is just setting like the pace of this thing with Faranor following you. We are actually slipping into combat. Combat is just a normal scene. The only thing that changes is that I start tracking your actions because I'm also going to throw more reactions at you. The only difference, the rolls are exactly the same. The only difference is with reactions, I'm giving you a situation you must react to immediately with a roll, which means there's probably going to be more rolls where you're not really suited to what's going on, so you might get some harsher results. But the other thing I should introduce, the track I have made is a strategy track for Farinor.
Oh, no.
Creatures in the Wildsea don't have hit points. They don't need to be killed. Any hazard, whether it's a giant rampaging metal lightning cat or an angry wolf or anything else, or a living storm, in fact, in its natural form, it needs to be beaten or solved or overcome. That does not necessarily mean killed. And because of this, it means you can do damage. If you've got a hammer, you can smack something. Brilliant. That's going to make some marks on a strategy track. But so will distracting something, or sapping its will to fight, or setting some kind of clever trap to slow it down. You are solving an encounter rather than beating a foe most of the time.
Cool.
So
Love
your
that.
strategy track might be filled by you taking Farinor down completely, or outpacing him, or anything else like that. It is up to you to decide how you do these encounters, basically, with hazards.
Cool.
I will also give you a bit of information that just for future benefit, you might not always have, which is this track has a break in the middle. When I have marked enough boxes, something is going to change.
Oh, no. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So, with that,
Here we go.
with that, focus is open. You are moving at a decent speed. Farinor rushes down the bark of the tree, leaving scars behind it, and leaps into the waves. You are moving across the thrash in your ship at a decent clip immediately. Farinor is not. Farinor has gone down into the tangle underneath your ship, moving probably through your wake. You can see kind of explosions of mushrooms as they overcharge and burst behind you, getting closer and closer with every moment. What do you do? And I will also say, remember, your ship is one of the best weapons you have in these kind of situations as well.
Mm-hmm. 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 Let's see.
So
And
based on the
yeah.
based on the mushrooms being tossed up, you said we can get a gauge of where Farinor is.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
It's not a perfect sighted view, but you kind of know roughly where the thing's going.
Okay.
Also, it helps that it's definitely chasing your ship. So
Yeah.
You're in there.
Can I?
I,
I'm gonna. Oh, sorry.
I have an idea. Harlan,
Yeah.
I need you to take control of the ship. Just go straight forward and as fast as you can.
Fast as I can.
Fast as you can. Just keep her going.
Aye, aye, Cerise.
And, Harlan gets up there, you know, their package is still above their head, and they take the two hands. They go, "This really is a chauffeur's hat, too." And
There we go.
Okay, make a speed roll.
and that is 4.
Yeah, I believe it's 46.
And
No
I
cut
take
because you are moving through a
a
reasonably easy path.
D6. How do we do advantage? Because I have advantage on a ship roll against jaw.
Bump it up to 5d6. That's good.
Look at all these dice. I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's good.
Come on. Let's go. Oh, here we go. Okay. So that is.
Highest number and then he doubles.
So we have a 6, and then we have 2 3s.
Oh, a triumph with a twist.
Ooh.
Describe your triumph. You are going to pull further ahead of Farinor as it chases you. It won't get you out of the woods yet, but you're getting a lead.
Mm-hmm.
So you describe how you do it.
Yep. Harlan takes their very little stick-leggy foot and floors it, and that foot isn't enough, so they bring their other foot down, and so they've got both little moth feet on the pedal to the metal. They are going and like kind of rumbling, and they kind of, you know, have this just like bright-eyed expression, and they're like, "Ha!
Who is winning rock, paper, scissors now?"
Perfect. And with the doubles, you can either take a twist as normal, or because it's a combat scene, you can treat it as a critical and have me mark another box to make things end earlier, basically.
I think
It's up to you.
critical.
Okay. And I'm marking 2 boxes on Faranor's strategy track then.
We go fast.
And the
Yup,
focus
indeed.
is open. The way combat and stuff or any tense scene works at Wildsea, I will break in at dramatically appropriate moments to give the hazard a thing to do, which forces reactions from you. I don't have to roll. It's lovely, apart from unless I want to roll random damage sometimes, which is fun. But focus passes from person to person as you dictate, and I just break in when I need to.
I'm going to go for the distraction with the spores and the exhaust. I'm going to be throwing the spores as fast as I can and kind of trying to aim that towards where we can see Faranor in the canopy, or
Yeah. There's like the wake of broken branches and like split leaves of your ship, and then another smaller wake kind of moving from place to place behind it, and these mushrooms bursting. There we go. So yeah. Also, just so you know, it was almost sunset as you were doing this, so then the sun is now setting behind the much closer storm.
Ooh.
So the mushrooms that were being thrown at us earlier that had a little bit of a spark to them, are they still sparking? Okay.
Most of your mushrooms are still sparky now, definitely. There's a lot of sparky mushrooms.
So I'm going to suggest to Kanoko, let's grab these mushrooms that have a little bit of spark to them and throw them in that direction so that whenever he eats them, wherever the spark disappears, that's where we'll kind of have an idea of where he's at. And I'm willing to take a damage for like little sparks of picking them up and throwing them in that direction.
Yeah, that's a really cool way to lend aid to that. Kanoko, make your roll, and Prixilla, take an extra 1d6 from Prixilla helping out. And
So
if it does go wrong, Prixilla, I'll say you take some damage, but if it goes well, we'll just say you get a bit tingly.
Okay, so I'm using Instinct, Outwit. I'm going to add 1d6 from Prixilla's help, and I'm going to add my aspect. If I'm using one of my aspects which has a mark through it, does that mean I remove? No, I can still use it as long as it's not fully crossed off.
If an aspect is fully marked, you can't use it. But if it is only partially marked, you're absolutely fine.
Okay. And I think at this point, I will also throw the hallucinogenic spores specimen into it as well, which I produced earlier. Full 2d6 of advantage. Yeah. All right. Okay.
But you are cutting one because it is difficult. You can see roughly where Faranor is, but not perfectly. But if this goes well, you might remove that cut for future stuff because you'll have a better idea of where he is.
Awesome. Okay.
So whatever you roll, cut one.
Okay. Damn it. So I cut the 6, which means the second highest is a 4.
Oh, okay. Conflict.
Yeah.
Describe. This is one of the reasons I like cut. Describe how this was almost perfect, because you were so close to that 6. Describe how this almost went perfectly, and then just at the end something went wrong. Okay.
So I think what we were doing was taking those sparky mushrooms, as Prixilla suggested. I was probably like packing a bunch of spores on the mushroom, and then we were just attempting to lob it in the direction of Faranor. So I think it was almost going to be a direct hit in the path of Faranor, like directly in front of the path where we could see the stuff being kicked up in the canopy. But I think it hit a part of the canopy and bounced free of that area instead of landing where we wanted it to. It kind of got kicked off course.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
In that case, I'm going to say, because it is a conflict, and it's generally something good or something bad, and something bad, I'm marking the strategy track once. You have distracted Faranor for a moment, but Faranor also responds to that immediately. That surge behind you, that extra wake, suddenly gets much bigger and then disappears as the kind of lightning and metal form of Faranor leaps almost dolphin-like into the air. the riveted main explodes outwards, a single strand of electricity connecting each of the rivets to the main. Your ship is essentially peppered as if you'd just taken a shotgun blast.
Oh, crap.
I am going to roll a single d6 of damage, so it could be anywhere between 1 and 6. I'm going to hit it on one of your ship's ratings. That's a 5. Let's find out which rating it hits. The 5th one down, stealth. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not being very stealthy anyway.
No.
Yeah, you're at a 1
No.
in stealth. You are now at a 0 in stealth, and your ship takes a serious structural problem.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to say your ship gains a 4-box temporary condition riddled with holes.
Oh, yeah.
You would stick that on the ship sheet, basically, and you could fix it with like scrap metal and stuff going forwards. But for now, your ship is riddled with holes. So in any situation where that is a negative, you'll probably be cutting on ship holes.
You look like Swiss cheese.
We do look like Swiss cheese.
I'm guessing the reason our stealth is now gone is because some of those bits and pieces ended up fucking with some of the engine, so it's now a lot louder than it was.
Oh, yeah, and you've probably got like acidy smoke kind of rising from it as well, so you're just leaving this huge trail behind it. Yeah.
Oh,
dear.
But that is not the only thing Farinor does, because Farinor, at the end of this leap, attempts to grab onto the back of your ship.
Ooh.
And I am going to ask somebody. Actually, Harlan, you're driving, I think.
yeah.
Tilt roll, please.
Oh no, can it be speed? Surely
Nope.
it can be speed.
It is tilt. You're going to have to do a little jig to try and get out of the way.
Which, with tilt, it's rolling.
Is your tilt currently 0?
Yes.
Pretty sure it is.
1d6, treat 6s as 5s.
Okay, you got it.
But you do still get, if you got advantage of rolls, that's actually, no, that's just roll 1d6. Maybe you're going to triumph, So.
Cool. Can I re-roll that then?
No.
Are you sure? Because it's a 1, and I would really prefer to just re-roll that. If
I'm sure.
no, that's fair.
That's a disaster.
This die's going all the way over here. It's not playing anymore.
Farinor, this doesn't do your ship any damage, and Farinor is now, hey, you can see him, no problem. But that is because one kind of metal hand/paw grips the back of your ship, and it starts levering itself up onto the deck. If you don't deal with this very, very quickly, you will be in close proximity to a very angry lightning cat thing.
Can I roll an aspect?
Go for it. Focus is open.
So I have Geist Hand, which means that I can manipulate nearby objects without touching them, though the heavier they are, the harder it is.
Nice.
I would like to essentially, with the hand that he's got gripped on there, I just want to peel it off. Be like, no.
I'm going to give you a serious cut for this because this is very heavy.
That's totally understandable.
Okay, take a cut of 3.
He's mostly lightning, though, right? Like,
Well, lightning and
doesn't weigh
metal.
anything.
Metal's known
What?
for its
Lightning
weight.
and metal. Okay.
Yeah,
I am going to use
had to try.
tides with my knowledge of the Wildsea.
Yep.
I am going to use harvest because I am used to taking things off of things for finding.
I like that. That's a good use of a skill.
There you go.
And then we will use Geist Hand. So that takes me to 4, but I'll have to cut 3. So vibes. Okay.
Contribute. Oh,
It's a
okay.
4.
Oh, nice. That's a
4.
compliment.
There we go.
Compliment after a cut 3 is pretty good. You managed to unpeel this hand from the back of the ship. That's really impressive. It takes you with it. Harlan, you are pulled along with your own Geist hand. Cerise, I think you were next to Harlan at that moment. You just see Harlan disappear out the back of the cabin. You are pulled down into Farinor's grasp. You're still moving at the same speed of the ship, because so is Farinor. But yeah, you are now
Okay.
in one of the paws of this creature.
Is
Oh,
Harlan
Oh.
visible, or did
Uh,
Farinor go under the canopy
Paranor
again?
is now back under the waves, so not currently. But we'll see what happens there. I'm going to push focus onto either Cerise or Priscilla.
I need somebody to take control of the ship, and Cerise is bolting into the Wild Bay and opening the doors so that way in her little skipper called Echo, she can go down and try and help Harlan out.
Oh, that is perfect. Just so you know, as a kind of addendum to action stuff, most Wildsea ships, if you just slam the throttle into full and leave them going, they'll go for a while. You might hit something, but they'll go for a while.
I mean,
Yes,
what else?
like,
can you hit?
Describe your skipper as it leaves the Wild Bay.
The little skipper, the hole looks sort of like either bone or a marble. It's a little hard to tell, but it's almost like a motorcycle, but like a long saw on the bottom where the wheels would be.
I'm so happy with that. That's what
I love
Outriders
that.
are. Just so everyone else knows, they're essentially
Yeah.
Wildsea motorcycles that they're brilliant. Go for
Love
it. Yeah, love it.
And when she gets on it in the Wild Bay and she opens the Wild Bay doors, it just drops out onto the treetops, and she just zooms off from there towards this thing in search for friends.
Nice. Okay. In that case, we will come back to you very soon, as you're going to hit it, or it's going to hit you, or something horrible is going to happen. But first, I'm pushing focus on Priscilla.
I am torn between two things I want to do as Priscilla.
You feel free to tell us both.
So the first thing that Priscilla wants to do is to instinctively go run to her workshop and grab whatever she can get to start hammering out some of those holes that she's able to reach, because she's so used to being able to blast things and inventing things and workshopping and explosives anyways, that she knows how to do that quickly. The other thing that Priscilla wants to do is just scream out to Foreinos and be like, and go, Foreigno, I know you're somewhere in there. Please, don't let him take over us. Oh,
For story purposes, I like that one.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's pretty good.
Maybe Farano is still somewhere inside there. Who knows? And if you want to roll it, I'll let you roll it. And if you roll well, it's going to mark a strategy track.
Okay. I'm going to roll for that. I'm
Go
going
for
to try and convince Foreinos somewhere in there to help us out. And I'm going to be like, they say nothing lasts forever, but will you be my nothing? And my roll is a 6.
You actually got a 6?
I got a 6.
Damn.
Just so everyone knows I'm being a good tracking person, you have just hit the track master. The track break, which means something is about to change.
Oh, no!
That is a good thing to change. There is a moment where Faranor rises again from the waves, aiming straight at you, Priscilla, with one hand holding Harlan. It just goes to throw Harlan at you, just lobbing. But at the last moment, the hand kind of just opens up and launches you straight up in the air. It is obviously that there is now genuinely an internal conflict inside this thing. Jaw Farano are still possibly separate entities that are now warring over what's happened.
Yes.
As we hit this track break,
Amazing.
I'm going to say that Faranor is starting to come apart. More and more lightning is sparking out of it, and Faranor, although body is still very cat-like and not normal ironbound-like, is regaining a little bit of control. But that's not all that happens. I'm going to mark the last box of hitting the storm.
Oh, no.
Because that bolt of slow lightning was only the advanced charge. Suddenly, you are enveloped in storm clouds as the storm spirals down to hit your ship. There are now no bursting mushrooms around you because all the mushrooms are constantly ablaze with electrical energy. You see small fires starting around you almost everywhere, which is very, very bad for the Wildsea. Avoid fire on the Wildsea. Not good.
No.
All
Do
of
I
you,
take extra lightning
mark
damage?
a point of Maya, and Kinoka, you're about to take some damage as well. Yeah, but all of you
Okay.
mark a point of Maya because even the sight of fire most of the time is like, oh shit, things have gone wrong. Things have gone really wrong.
Yeah.
So mark your Maya and tell me what Maya you marked, and then Kinoko, we're going to push focus onto you after that for something.
Okay.
Harlan has a vision of a past death that definitely involved fire.
I like that.
And it's one that they're holding their own, like floating above this, kind of just like flapping wings absentmindedly and just watching the flames and are like,
Oh no. Oh god, okay.
Cerise, what did you mark?
Yeah. For Cerise, I'm marking material control waivers erratically. So what happens is normally she has light, little sort of light blue, sort of not sparks, but like little nice little floaty stuff that kind of mostly shows around the joints and all that. It's now more pronounced and a lot more erratic. So like some of her movements and stuff is a lot more locked and everything than they are, which is usually quite smooth.
Oh, I like that. It's good.
So yeah.
Yeah, good. Prixilla?
Priscilla gets a little bit of a motion sickness. She's already green, so instead of turning green, she actually turns blue.
oh no!
Perfect. We're good.
That tracks.
Kinoko.
Kinoko starts hearing whispers that aren't there, or are they? I think this time they kind of are there, and it is the screaming of the mushrooms in the canopy that are sparking and starting to burn.
That is fair. And on the subject of burning, do you have a chart?
I don't know what that is.
It is one of your types of resources.
Oh, a chart.
Salvage
I do not,
specimens
no.
and charts. Okay.
I do
What
not.
specimens do you have?
I currently have 3 specimens: salvine extract, a gold-winged bee, and a sparky-rooted mushroom.
You can now add an extra word to all of those, charred.
Oh no!
Your
Okay.
specimens now all have a negative tag because they are all smoking in your pouch or wherever else you keep them. As the electricity running around your body needs somewhere to go.
Oh, okay.
Um,
And just checking, I also took an extra damage, right, from that lightning.
no, we'll count that as the damage. Because damage
that
is
is the
usually
damage.
talked to like aspects or something, or this time we're doing it to resources.
Okay.
Wildsea, very flexible. Which is good for a GM. Not always good for players, but good for a GM. And I actually want to force an instant reaction from Cerise on this, because you went out of your wild bay doors. You are now the closest one to Faranor / Jaw / Farano. What do you do with this closeness? Are you aiming to hit this thing as you come out, or are you aiming to move alongside it or get away? What are you up to?
You know what? She's just gonna get up close to it and she's gonna be like, seeing the conflict, she's gonna be, come on, cool leader man, you got this, beat the storm.
Okay, make a roll for it.
Hype manning it.
Yeah, go for it.
From Ironbound to Ironbound, you know.
Yep.
It's a big surfer culture there.
Actually, I will say one of the bits of art in the second book is a Ketra surfing in stripy shorts. I love it.
Oh my god.
Nice.
I love that.
It's one of the aspects you can take in Storm and Root, the second book, is a giant speed-like surfboard thing. So.
Yes.
Love that. It's a 4.
Okay, conflict, which is very appropriate. Something good and something bad. I think how morbid do I want to be with this? Something good. Farano reclaims a bit of himself. Something bad, he reclaims that by having it land in your lap as you go past. Choose a body part.
Oh my goodness.
Do you want a head, an arm, a leg? What do you want?
You know what? For a rainy day, I'll go ahead and claim like an arm. Who knows?
Give yourself a piece of salvage, Farano's arm.
Oh my god. Just in case I lose mine, here's my backup.
Wow. I was not expecting to hear the words choose a body part today. Like, geez.
So we're all in new territory.
Wow.
Focus is open.
Gotta say that this might not be what Cerise originally looked like.
Wow.
Oh.
So Faranor is currently visible, right? Like over the canopy.
Now kind of half running, half bounding, half, I know that's 3 halves, tumbling, as part of him is obviously trying not to chase the ship at this point. But while visible, moving above the top of the waves, like moving along the thrash like you are, the very topmost parts of the waves, the storm being around you is lowering visibility in general. That plus the setting sun means you're fighting now, not in total darkness, because your ship is very well lit with all these electric mushrooms and fires around, but it's lit in that kind of horrible, dramatic way that modern Hollywood movies are lit, where you can't actually see much of what's going on, apart from knowing things are terrible.
Yep.
Farano, I know you're somewhere in there. The fire that you see around us is nothing like the fire I have in my heart. And yet you give your arm to Cerise.
Conflict.
Oh god. Oh god.
I would like you to roll with a cut of 1. Because Jaw is going to try and drown this declaration of tortured love with a roll of thunder.
Wow.
Of 1.
Oh goodness.
I got a 1, but it's a double too.
Okay, that's a twist. Is it a disaster with a twist? Could be worse.
Yeah, let's do that.
Could be worse. Okay. The mane of rivets that was once Faranor's beard, much like it tried to pepper the ship, it tries to pepper you. However, as it heads towards you, instead of that massive damage it dealt to the ship, you see multiple rivets desperately bending and trying to avoid you as Farano kind of fights back against this attack, but can't deflect all of them. So, 2 marks of, I suppose, spike damage, probably. But I am also marking Faranor's track. More and more of him is getting through. In fact, you only have 2 boxes left to mark.
Can I roll a scavenge?
You can try, yeah.
Because I'm flying like above it. So I just
you are
want to like
well.
try to like dip and just grab a piece of Theranos. And I would like to roll that with veils to be
Ooh.
like
Sorry, hold that thought. There was also a twist. I completely forgot there was a twist in the last
we need
roll.
a twist.
Would you like, Prixella, to take that twist as a critical or as an actual twist?
I'm gonna say critical.
Then you only have one box left to mark.
Come on, Harlan, you got this.
And yeah, Harlan, this might be the moment that ends this thing.
So I would like to. I think I'm actually going to roll it with sharps as my edge for like the brain.
Yep.
I have a rank 2 for scavenge, and I'm going to use my prismatic antennae aspect, which lets me see clearly without light through clouds of dust and spores.
That is perfect, because I was about
Yes.
to give you a cut of 2 for being in the storm roiling around you. No cut. That's great. Roll it.
Fair enough. All right. Okay. So we have a 6, no doubles.
Okay, then it's just a straight triumph. This is marking the final box on this track, which means the strategy track is full, the encounter is finished. Describe what happens.
So Harlan flies down, kind of like looking at more of like the jaw cat than the fire, because the fire is kind of giving them palpitations, and they see Theranos's heart, like the little iron heart, like the chest piece, and they pick it up with their other hands, their package still high above.
Holding the package the entire
Rain, sleet,
time.
or snow, Harlan's on the job. And they hold it and they go,
Well, this seems like a package I can deliver.
and they head back to the ship and plop down in front of Prixilla and go,
Here,
I love
delivery.
it.
I will take that heart from Harlan. I'll be like, thanks, Harlan. I'm gonna show Theranos exactly what happens to his heart whenever he gives another person his arm.
Oh my. Okay.
Prixilla, what do you do?
Gonna take it to my workshop. We'll see what happens.
Oh my god!
that way in the direction I was expecting at the end there, but yeah, there is a moment, and Kinoko, you've been connected to this storm from the start. You're not going to feel it as damage now, but you're definitely going to feel it as something. There is a moment where the storm jaw experiences, possibly for the first time, genuine emotion. It feels regret. And those storm clouds around you shred themselves into nothing. The lightning animating Farano's corpse withdraws, creeping back into that storm as it dissipates, and the pieces of Farano tumble into the waves. Even as close as you are, Cerise, you might be able to grab a few pieces as they go, but this is like literally like take a Lego structure and smash it on a wall and it just falls. Farano, most of him is now headed to the Underreefs, the essential hell of the Wildsea. But you have an arm and a heart, and there are things in the Wildsea that have grown back from less than that. So it's not a complete loss, and you have successfully not even just evaded, but dissipated the storm jaw.
go on.
Yeah, seriously, well done. And because I think we're hitting our end time anyway, this is the perfect time to do, because I'm not running the next session, so it's going to be up to someone else for that one. What I can do is end this session by giving out some milestones, and you can also create milestones of your own. Milestones are how you advance characters in the Wildsea. Advancement is more of a horizontal thing than a vertical thing. You don't get massively stronger, you get more complex, and you get more options of things to do. The way milestones work is I give you all one as a group, or I can give them individually, but I'll give a group one here, which is beaten a living storm. So everyone gets to write down beaten a living storm in one of their milestone slots. And you can all give yourself a milestone, a short phrase based on the thing that you think defined this session for your character. And if you want to, you can say them now, or you can leave it till the start of the next session. It is up to you and your timings. And I will hand things back to Artmaster Ray for this one.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Felix, for running this game for us. This was the perfect. What did we decide this was? Like an epilogue, like a prologue. The perfect prologue to lead into the campaign of the Tales of the Zephyr and its crazy crew. I think this definitely demonstrated how everybody's going to work together and what their characters are. I really enjoyed this session very, very much. So just thank you.
Sorry, we also definitely then don't get on the wrong side of Priscilla. That's
for real.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
For real. So again, thank you so much for running this game.
No problems. That was actually really enjoyable. It's nice. It's nice to have a crew that focuses not just on the big violent stuff, but on the interpersonal stuff, even when that stuff is kissing mushrooms. So.
Indeed. And on that note, I just want to say thank you to the chat for your amazing comments and fun and interaction. We all really, really appreciate you. And I can't wait for the next episode of the Wildsea. So thank you all again, and we'll see you next game. Laters.
I won't. Bye.